Welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. Right. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. It's going great, actually.
It's going great, except for one thing.
I actually have a list of things that are except for.
Yes, exactly. So today, as we're recording, is the 12th of November, 2020. The release date of the PlayStation 5 in some territories.
In some territories, yeah.
Not this one.
Not this one.
Oh, God.
So, it's tough because I'm kind of excited to see... I'm not actually going to watch any PlayStation 5 stuff.
Yeah.
I want to really badly, but I want... On principle, I'm going to experience it for the first time on my own. Frick these guys.
Frick them.
By the time this is done, and movie clubs done and all that, people will be waking up to their PlayStation 5s.
Yeah.
And we won't have one. So
it's really depressing, really depressing. We knew from a while back, we was like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst time ever. Maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe it will, but maybe it'll be alright.
It was so bad.
It is so bad.
It's so
Especially because mother truckers have been sending me PlayStation 5 games. Yeah. So now I'm just getting to see them and stare at them.
That's the bit that really hurts. Is that the PS5 branding is out there. The games are out because PS5s are coming out.
Yeah, the release date of the games are a day, and regardless of the console. Yeah. So they come out.
And they're out. And the PlayStation 5 is technically out. And we know for a fact there are PlayStation 5s in the country.
Yes.
There many are here.
We've seen like pictures people have done from like warehouses. They're like, it's in the country.
They are here. This is one of those... This is like, you know, back in the day when Call of Duty had a street day.
Yes.
And we would go out of our way. The problem was we were going out of our way to go to retailers or people where they had it in stock, but they, have to wait for the street day. This is a case of... These are in warehouses we don't have access to. Yeah. We can't turn up and get like Bobby on the wharf to like give us a couple PS5s.
No.
Plus we've already got two paid for.
Yeah.
Like it's so frustrating knowing that fake gamers.
Yes.
Like
Dan. Night Scar as well. Night Scar, he's the fakest of gamers.
The fakest of gamers.
Vuta, he's a fake gamer.
That upside down fricker.
Oh, dude, you want to see? He got an email. So he woke up in the morning. He was like, in a matter of hours, I'm going to be getting my PlayStation 5. And then an hour later, he updates that tweet. He's like, never mind. He shows a screenshot of an email saying, your console will be arriving between the 13th and the 18th of November.
Amazing.
Justice right there.
The idea that he would get his the same day as we get ours because of like time zones would be so delicious.
It would be.
I wouldn't need to eat for a month.
Yes. Australia, you haven't done many things good in life.
It's true.
If you do this...
Other than burning down.
That was a good thing.
Of course, right.
If you do this, all will be forgiven. All will be forgiven right there.
And for the record, I want other people to get their PlayStation 5s.
Oh, yeah.
I want David Jerome to get his PlayStation 5.
Definitely.
Just not the upside down fool.
Not him.
An AC YouTuber.
Not him. Basically, so this episode today, we're going to talk about a lot of there's a bit of news coming out, a bit of some reviews of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and stuff, like what people are thinking.
That's right.
And essentially, this episode is going to be a support group for everybody who isn't getting their PS5 now.
A support group, True Gamer episode.
Yes.
Which, of course, is funded by you guys, our super bros, over on patreon.com/conversations. Who do you have to thank?
We have Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate, Keralt of Rivia, aka Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan, The Man, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master, HBartz 12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville, Sabine, Master Chief himself, Albyscorey, Super Sus Ben Fryer, and the Star Wars Encyclopedia himself, Adam Sunling. Thank you, bros, so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here at Combo Plations. That list has gotten longer.
It has gotten longer. I gotta say, forgetting what Patreon is, this is a tiered thing. The fact that this number keeps going up.
Yeah.
Something about it's so fulfilling. Like
we're doing something right, clearly.
I mean, I think these guys we've found all these people with terrible taste.
Them all.
Yeah. But, I don't know, there is something about that list going up, or we were looking at Patreon earlier, it's gone up again to, I think it's an all-time high current number of patrons.
Currently all-time high, yeah.
Forget the money. I don't even care about the money. the fact that there's that many people that are like, yeah, this is worth throwing as little as $1 a month.
Yes.
I don't know. I find that super like amazing. I'm still excited when we get subs. Like the Combo Plations channel, this current channel, we're at like 440 subs.
Yeah.
Every time I check back and we've gained like 10 subs.
Yeah.
I'm super happy. Bearing in mind, the main channel has like 6,000 subs.
Yeah.
You know, and we've seen like random jumps of like 500 subs in a month once I think we got. But like 10 subs in a month, I'm still excited over, and I love that.
It's that sense, because we've got that sense of community right now, that every new person we get to feel their presence and get to be like, oh, this guy's here, cool. And the family's growing even bigger.
Yeah.
And it's getting slowly to the point as well where it's like there's so many people that we have so many different conversations. Which is really cool.
Talking of community, the Discord.
Yes.
If you're new around here and this is your first episode, or you're not new but you haven't checked it out, or you weren't sure about Discord, in the description, by the way, as you go down there's a subscribe. If that's red, you want ugly red. No one likes it. Turn that grey and the thumbs up button. But enough YouTube chilling. The Discord link is entirely free. We don't make anything. It doesn't do anything for us. It's just an awesome place.
Full of gamers.
The best place, genuinely the best place on the internet. But when we started it a year ago.
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah.
It was like you, me, and maybe like 5 or 6 other guys were the first few dudes, right? And it was a case of like, if you and I weren't super active, it would be relatively quiet. Now, you can go there at any time, which I do because I still don't sleep. So like 3 a.m, and people will be like, Luke will still not have gone to bed. Right? Like he'll have said, okay, I'm going to bed since 11 o'clock, you know, and he'll still be there. Or like, there's just dudes always talking about stuff, especially because we have guys all over the world. I think that it goes in almost shifts. So like the India crew keep it alive at like the early hours, and then it comes to us. Then there's a couple guys in like America, Australia, that kind of stuff. So it's so cool to see that it went from this place of like, if no one posted, nothing happened, right? And then we would post, and it would get the few guys talking, and then a few guys would just start talking on their own. And now we're at a point where there is constant activity. It's so cool. I'm just super busy at the minute. I can't enjoy it a lot, but
especially around this time because we're planning for the next gen consoles and the coverage and stuff like that. But still, it's really great. However, they never stop shit talking us over there. Anytime I go in there, I see there's a meme going on about me that I didn't know, and I was like, bastards, they're doing this behind my back.
These guys are the best kind of toxic, and I not only love it but respect it.
Yes, I do too. I
wouldn't change it for the world.
I wouldn't change it either. Couple of little housekeeping things to mention before we get going into stuff. The biggest thing that's happening right now is between the days of the 4th and the 7th of December.
Yes.
Us here at Conversations, and the Four Pillars are hosting a charity event to raise money towards breast cancer research. We've teamed up with them. We're going to be doing a whole like weekend of gaming streams, hoping to entertain you guys, to make you guys laugh, and to raise awareness and raise a bit of money for a fantastic cause, breast cancer research. There'll be a link in the description to our video announcement to tell you all about it, and also a link to the fundraiser page. We've already nearly got to £1,000, even though we haven't done anything.
It's nuts. It's so cool.
It's really cool.
We so I didn't mention it in the video because Fishy, Ethan, and Tyler had much more like relevant stories, I think. But I mean, my mum had skin cancer. My grandmother had breast cancer, so it's an issue that's also close to my heart. And I'm looking forward to it. Sounds strange, but like I want to see what the combined community can do. Yeah. And I was impressed beyond words with the fire thing, the Australian fire streams. But I think this, especially because we have more, that one was like the first time we'd ever done it. I was just going to say that. With the other one, we felt sort of tangential to it. We wasn't, like, they were doing the thing, they were like, do you guys want to be involved? And we was last minute we came in to try and help out. This, we're in from the ground level, we're doing everything we can. So it's like, we're putting our real effort into it and hopefully we produce something. We're planning some stuff out. We're more involved in the planning of the actual event. I think it's going to go off a lot smoother. Yep. Especially because there's no plans to do stupid AC. We have to play Assassin's Creed. And also we've got the streaming PC this time, so maybe things will go a lot smoother. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's good. But it should be quite good. Should be a lot of fun. And hopefully we raise a lot of money for this event. It's pretty incredible. goal to be going for.
Yeah, £15,000.
It's a lot.
It's a goal, but I think it's achievable for us.
I'm going to put this out there right now. I don't care if Avery Dobbs just puts in the full 15k. I don't consider it. The community has to raise it combined. All right.
Avery Dobbs does that sometimes. He's like,
a monster.
I've got a spare 15k lying around.
He's a
I'll
monster.
just drop it down.
I think I watched one of Wames's streams, and he donated like $500 and then could only hang out for like half an hour.
What? I mean, come on, that's fair. 500 for half an hour.
So it's a great cause. It's a pretty incredible goal that we're going for. I'm going to put some money into it, but not until I want to see where we get at the end. I don't want to what I don't want to do is like on the last day, put in like however much, and people go, "Oh, Shep's donated. We're going to be the last few to cap it off."
Yeah.
Unless we're like really near the goal, in which case I will wait, and then once the goal's finished, I'll add.
Yeah, we don't want to be the guy.
I don't want to be the guy that tips it over the.
Like he's stealing the spotlight. Oh, right. Sheps did the whole thing, didn't he?
Yeah. Although I guess I could, and then I could come out and do some like YouTube drama and be like, the Four Pillars couldn't have done it without me.
Without Sheps. There you go, right there.
Drama's always great for channel growth. So.
Hey, no publicity is bad publicity, as they say in the business. Anyway, guys, check the links in the descriptions for more information on that. Yeah. Remember, it's between the 4th and the 7th. It'll be on James's channel, Lasers. It'll be on Ethan's channel, that's Fishy, Tyler Dynamite, and long-eared fox as well, George, and of course our channel over here. There'll be lots of gaming streams. We did originally plan to do Cyberpunk on that day.
I mean, I feel that luckily Cyberpunk is not the appropriate game for this anyway.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was.
Right, because of the undertones of like surgeries and stuff. That's too close to the bone.
Exactly. Yeah.
So luckily, we spoke with the guys at CDPR, got them to push the release back.
Yes, that's it.
For our stream.
Thank you, CDPR, for doing that for us. Thank you.
Exactly. Because we're a big deal. Do you know who we are? But
the way that happened, though, it was like we arranged it. I was like, cool, there'd be about a month after the game comes out. People won't be so worried about spoilers. I can play whatever. Perfect timing. The best timing ever. And then afterwards, when the delay happened, I get into our group chat that we've got about the charity thing. I'm like, so you know how I was going to play Cyberpunk?
But
why can't anything work out for conversations?
Nothing. Like our Patreon extra, which actually we're still in November, so we can talk about it.
That's the thing, yeah.
We have got a Patreon exclusive bonus thing.
For the month of November, we've got, if you guys head over to our Patreon, there's a special tier, True Gamer Plus. You guys get this. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna wave it. I'm not gonna show it for too much. But you can get this game cover right here that looks like that.
Front, right? Everybody's seen the. Oh no, we can't. We can't,
That's right there. You can see this Combroplations 2077 PS4 game cover, which we've got right now.
It looks sick.
Looks quite nice right there.
Sick.
There we go.
Like, I'm putting it on my Cyberpunk game, I'm just saying. So,
it looks really good. If you want to contribute to our Patreon at the True Gamer Plus tier, you can get that as well as all the other perks of getting the podcast early, being able to write into the show like a couple of other guys have, and all the other benefits that you get, including exclusive videos that we record.
It's true.
So you guys can do
close
that.
To the Super Bro tier, like if you're gonna go that far, you might want to consider it. It's up to you. But we will have the PS5.
Yes.
And because of the nature of the 6 of us, the 4 of them and the 2 of us, the 6 of us.
Yeah.
There's 5 channels, but there's 6 people.
The 6 pillars, yes.
That's it. That is as we're known. There will be something for everybody.
Yes.
So like, if they're all playing if they're all playing some stupid Viking game and Tyler's going to play... I hate that you... Why do you have 2?
Go, explain what you're going to say and then we'll explain what reason why I have 2. Go.
Like, someone's probably going to play Horizon, someone's going to play whatever. Maybe we'll play like some Battlefront or something, and plus we get to use the new hardware, so we're able to make better use of the internet connection and all that stuff. There should be something for everybody.
Yes.
Right? Likely someone's going to be playing a narrative-based thing. Yeah. Likely someone's going to be playing a multiplayer-based thing. Sci-fi, survival, whatever. So it's going to be a really good mix of content. The weekend's going to be packed, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be packed out right there.
It's going to be great.
A couple of life updates as well.
Okay.
So in the last episode, we told our guys that we might not be getting our PlayStation 5s. Yeah. Because we asked for our PS5 to be delivered to a local store.
Yeah.
And then the
days later,
stupid mother trucker Boris Johnson decided to do a
Another
lockdown in the UK. So then obviously that store would not open. And we was worried what would happen. I sent off a ticket to them, which didn't get replied until after the news came out that apparently they are still going to open the shop for that one day between the hours of 8 and 2. So we can still get our console in the morning. Phew. Because on top of waiting a week, I would not have been happy to be like, well, I guess you just got to wait until December when this lockdown ends, and then it inevitably gets extended into January.
Of course it does. Yeah.
We never get it.
Yeah, so that's good.
That's good. So we're going to get our PS5s. Everyone also, I think it was in between the time that we posted the podcast, the news came out from Game, and we had Dave Bindis, we had a couple of guys come up and go, don't worry guys, I've just found out it's okay. And we're like, oh, thank Jesus.
Yeah. Again, that's one of the great things about the Discord is like if you're busy doing something because we're working, someone has got the time and has heard the thing and they let us know, which is great.
Yeah. So we are going to get that, which is great right there. And as I said, we mentioned it sort of slightly, for the month of November, we've got the Patreon exclusive tier. If you want to get one of these Combroplations 2077 PS4 game covers printed in a nice beautiful sleeve there.
It's an actual real sleeve. It looks really good. Yeah.
You can get that. Head over to the Patreon, link in the description like so many of our bros already have, and you can get one too. It helps us out as well.
Now that we're half an hour in,
yes,
it's probably a good time to start the True Gamer podcast. Now podcast in particular, this specific podcast was made possible by you guys on the Patreon, which we've plugged about 5 times already.
Yes.
The guys at the True Gamer tier, so $5 and above, cyberbullied us basically. That's the way I'm selling it.
You guys are so ugly. God damn it. But also make a True Gamer podcast for us.
You guys have a really good voice for podcasts. Like you're great for radio, not so much video.
You're more of a radio guy, not a TV guy.
Exactly.
That kind of thing right there.
And those guys at the $5 tier and above made this podcast happen. Actually, there was, the way I remember it, a lot of people saying like you need to do just the
gaming podcast, yeah.
And then we were like, no, we're not going to do it unless we'll make a tier for it and see if anybody wants it.
And then everyone joined it.
Instantly did it. So thank you to these people.
These people are Jeremy Horde, Record Friction, Diogo, Isak Manny, Dan, Real Cinema, Catsper Coral, Sab2557, Combrosations is objectively better than as always, Albyscorey, Adam the High Quality Potato, Chris Williams, Ashton is not happy that Matt Platinum Odyssey. You've seen it already. Benedict Clobbers, Adam Sunling, Batfan257, Fishy, Max H, The Swan Swam Over the Sea, Swin Swan Swim, The Swan Swam Back Again, Well Swum Swan, and
this is a real place in Wales. I'm pretty sure.
I googled it and I was like, what the hell is that? Line for Paula Galen Cherry Memberdrob Willius Naslia Gogochu, aka Josh.
For the record, you weren't having a stroke and there weren't audio problems. And that was surprisingly close.
Was that? Fucking nailed it, lads.
I mean, not the way it's supposed to be said, but I mean, you got most of the letters in mostly the right order.
I just made sounds when I got to the areas. I was like, that sounds about right.
Do you know what's funny? because Josh is obviously on the Discord.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have a problem with, by the way, nice number of notifications there.
69.
Nice. One of the problems that we have on the Discord, because we have the second channel, the other channel where we do Movie Club, Anime Club, and all that stuff, is that's between multiple people. So we all watch stuff together, and then you guys write in, we talk about the movie, and then we read the comments.
Yeah.
And a big thing we've been saying is like spacing and not punctuation, but like give us paragraphs, right? Because one big block of text.
It's tough to break things up. It's tough to read, yeah.
Especially after like, Jesus Christ, especially after we've done like, normally we'll do the True Game podcast or the Conversations podcast, and then Movie Club.
2 hours of Movie Club, and then it's like, this whole text.
So we're like 4 hours in to talking and trying to be failing at being entertaining.
Yeah.
And then we have to read these comments, and if it's one big block, it can, you often lose your place and stuff. But that could, how about a space? I mean, how about just splitting it up? You know how you've got like North London?
Yes.
Like,
You'd think, right? You know, I want to go to. Is this an island? Did you say?
I think it's
Or
the
Wales,
village
or
in
whatever.
Wales.
Yeah, Wales. I need to go to Wales to hear someone say that, and casually, just off the cuff, just sort of like, do you guys know how to get to? I'll name a random place with that. Oh yeah, you need to go through. Like, sorry, can you say that one more time? Oh yeah, you need to go through.
Yeah. If you get to, do you know what I think?
You've
is
gone
weird?
too far. You've gone too far to go that far.
This is the bit I don't get. You guys maybe will remember to edit and put the name up on the screen. Why the 2 L's?
Yes, that's another one.
Of all of this, there is a lot that isn't really needed in this name. But why the double L'ing of things?
No idea. Anyway, thank you guys for supporting us at this True Gamer tier. It really, really shows that you guys support us and really believe in us. We love you guys so much, and thank you for keeping the conversation, the True Gamer podcast going. That's right there. Shall we talk about some gaming stuff?
We're only 45 minutes in. Are we sure?
That's what's going on right there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So today's main topic of the show, because the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are out, the reviews are up and how people feel about them. Now, this is reviewers at the moment. Obviously, the true gamers haven't had time to have it yet in order to try out let their things. So I'm going to read out just a couple of things right here. I'm going to start off with a couple of PS5 reviews right here. This first one is from a guy called Chris Carter from Destructoid. He says, Sony is jumping into the next generation pool with both feet. The Dualsense controller is markedly different from the DualShock 4. The PS5 general look and feel is a stark departure. Its UI is entering a new territory as well with some interesting features. It has a bona fide brackets good exclusives and first party games to peddle day one. But not all of it is perfectly executed. If you have if you day one have the option to choose between the Xbox Series X and the PS5 and want to get a feel like next gen is upon you, the PS5 is probably the best fit as it has several real exclusives and the newer DualSense tech right there. Cool. So quite a good one right there. There are a few things that we're going to bring up later. Diogo sent us in a few topics to talk about and whatnot, some things that are missing from the PS5, but generally a good not bad. Review right there. And then the next one from Richard Letterbed, which is the guy from Digital Foundry, the guy that we all know. PS5 is a home run. Xbox Series X prevents the notion of latent...
the notion blood.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said prevents.
I said presents, didn't I?
You said prevents. I'm sure
Maybe my mouth went bad, but I had presents in my head. I don't know what was going on there. Let me say that again. Xbox Series X presents the notion of latent power yet to be unleashed, and the most conservative in its presentation, both in terms of the cuboid form factor and its UI, which is all intents and purposes a smoother, slicker, faster version of the Xbox One interface. PS5 is an altogether different experience. A Buck Rogers physical design with the system software that's fast, immediate, beautifully presented, and almost aggressively eager to herald the arrival of the new generation of gaming to the point where you've even been given a packing game, which is Astro's Playroom.
Yes.
How do you feel about those?
I feel the exact way. Does everybody remember old school Top Gear?
Yes.
I know this isn't the Conversations podcast, but I'm just going to stick this question in your head just to bug you all. When are we getting the next episodes of the Grand Tour?
Mate.
Back to gaming. They have always... they did this episode way back in the day, and if you're bored and want something to watch, old school Top Gear with the boys, the 3 guys, it's like the way to go, right? Mm-hmm. Where they spoke about like... car reviewers always using these same generic like words like it feels engaging and like and at the end of the day you know nothing, right? This sounds fine. I don't know anything about the PS5, right?
I think they're really struggling with this. I mean, granted this is just an overview and obviously the whole reviews are like 7 pages long, which we're not going to read out obviously, but it's hard to talk about a new generation about something that's never been done before. Like, granted, it's not consoles aren't changing the landscape, but they are doing brand new things, and it's hard to explain something that's brand new because you have nothing to compare it to.
This is the problem with journalistic things, and I feel like Digital Foundry, it's probably not fair to include them because although they do that, they also do real benchmark tests and stuff. They're real, stuff, like they really pick at scabs, let's say. But I think a lot of journalists aren't willing to really go out on a limb. Yeah. Like, say an opinion, and be wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So like if it was me and I got, let's say, the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And I was writing a piece on it, I would not say it feels smooth and the UI is an upgraded thing. I'd be like, this thing's freaking amazing, right? It's so much faster. This next generation is such a huge leap forward.
This is the difference between reviewers and a true gamer like yourself. Exactly. That's why I'm, as I said, reading these out so we can get a rough feel for it. But in a month's time, you'll get to see, like, we'll have our impressions up there. You'll have the impressions of, like, James and Ethan and the other gamers that you follow, the people that you know play games because they're gamers. Those ones that you really care about.
What's the difference between, like, you and I, let's say we'll go with Xbox, so I just picked it, right?
Yeah.
These journalists, the UI is fast on the Xbox Series X. You and me, the UI isn't just fast. We fired up our old Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's 10 times faster than that, and it feels, 5 times faster than that. It's so much faster. And the dual game feature is so fast you wouldn't believe it. It's so fast that we accidentally switched games and didn't notice because we weren't looking.
Stuff like
and
that.
And came back into the wrong game not knowing what was happening, right?
Yeah.
It was that fast. That's a real article.
That's what people... So the journalists, they see that as clumsy and not like not professional, whereas everyone else sees it as genuine and sincere. And it's like,
let's be honest, if you have an Xbox Series X, the first thing I'm gonna do if you go to get a drink is change your game and see how long it takes you to notice that you were driving through Night City and are now in like a squadron fighter. Yeah, you're now on a horse, or put you in a place that looks somewhat similar and see if you figure it out, right? Like, because that's ideally how the feature works. So it bugs me that instead of actually knowing anything about the PS5, we just got like, let's pick a thing. The general look and feel of a stark departure. Its UI is entering new territory, but doesn't tell me shit.
It doesn't sound like doesn't sound like something that we would say, basically.
How about like initially when we saw the UI being able to be accessed in game, I thought it was a gimmick, but it turns out it's super useful.
Yeah.
Or like I actually spent 5 minutes watching my buddy while I was playing through Sackboy, and he was playing the Astros, whatever, and it was super slick, and I really enjoyed it. Like that, it's a real gaming experience. We don't know anything, so that's how I feel. Frick these guys.
That's something that they don't really understand. But don't worry, that's why we are here on YouTube for you guys and whatnot.
Let's hear about the Series X.
I was going to say first of all, before we jump away from that. Have you seen much chatter about the PlayStation 5, like on Twitter and stuff like that? I know you said you want to try and zone out as much as possible.
I am actually actively trying to stay away from it. I know there are a couple of people are unhappy about a lack of certain features. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true or whatever, and we'll probably get into it. I presume that's one of the topics.
One of the topics, there is a couple of that. The thing that's really standing out is really the Dualsense controller. And I brought it up on the last podcast and the one before of how much of a game changer it is. And everyone's saying, guys, this is... They're praying, because it does live and die with third-party support, because the PS5 exclusives are going to be great and use it.
They're not few and far, but they're fairly far between.
Yeah, like we're getting quite consistently now, but not enough to sustain it.
Yeah.
If third parties adopt it as well, it will be great. And I hope they do, because it's sounding like it's going to be amazing. Yeah. We're going to see what happens.
The idea of like, I know this is a first party, but like pulling back a bow when you're playing Aloy and feeling it like get...
Everyone uses that thing because it's the only thing that people can think of. It's not a criticism to you.
No.
It's the only thing you can think of. Like, what can you possibly else say?
Like if you're playing Nathan Drake and you're climbing and having to... Or like the Death Stranding thing of like,
That would be great.
That... I feel like...
Feeling the tension on the trigger right there.
Adding that level of immersion is going to... Well, really, I think the gap between Xbox and PlayStation, at least the first-party exclusives, is going to get bigger. Not just because of how good those exclusives are, but they can stay at the same quality, and somehow they'll get better because you're more deeply immersed.
Yeah,
And it does make you wonder as well. How much? What is the difference in profit margins? Because the Series X hasn't really changed anything with its controller. Like the controllers are going to be £1 a penny, versus the new haptic stuff that's going into the Dualsense. So what are they doing with that extra money? Definitely, I mean, presumably funding the total ground up remake of Halo Infinite.
Oh yeah, I mean, it requires a lot of money, right?
So
they're scrapping everything and just starting again right there.
they must be. So I don't know. I just in that sense, just thinking about the DualSense, it definitely feels like the PS5 is next gen, and the Xbox Series X is just the next in the line.
Yeah, it feels like they made a slight tweak rather than what looks like anyway a jump in the PlayStation 5 area.
And that isn't. It might be that you end up turning off the haptic for a lot of things. I suspect for story stuff, absolutely not. And there's nothing wrong with the current way controllers work. They work great.
There is a reason why we're stuck with controllers, because it's the thing. It's the best way to control.
They work fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Xbox controller, but there's potential that the DualSense is really a game changer.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for that to be a pun. I'm really sorry.
Change the game with the controller. There you go, right there. All right, let's read some Xbox Series X reviews right here, and then we can round them all out and talk about them together. This one's from Logan Moore from DualShockers, and he says, after spending an ample amount of time with the Xbox Series X over the past few days, it's clear that Microsoft has created a fantastic console that will be a joy to play in the years to come. In the interim, though, we're still waiting for those must-have games that will have the promise that we've been promised to roll on through, and their continued absence here at launch has been felt. So right there.
Again, they didn't really say anything about the console, and as the guy that bangs on and constantly beefs out Xbox about the games,
This is the thing. Let me read out the next one as well, and then we'll talk about that, because he basically says the same thing here. Again, Richard Lerbed from Digital Foundry and whatnot. He goes, Xbox Series X excels in delivering lag-free console experience to the extent that returning to current-gen machines feels undesirable, which I think is going to be the thing with next-gen. When we go to next-gen, we can't just go back. It's going to look awful.
I think you're right.
To say the least. But what the machine lacks is a signature title that sets out what this console is all about and why we must all have one. In the here and now, at least... I said that a bit wrong there. I love the hardware in terms of what it could potentially experience with it, but the expert implementation of many of its forward-looking features, but the console is defined by its games, and in that sense, it feels like I barely know the machine at all. Basically, the games again is the issue, and that's what everyone's bringing up in all these. In the PlayStation ones, they're saying the games are there and back up the next gen experiences and the whole reason why you're buying this console. With the Xbox Series X, there seems to be a distinct lack of next gen games.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing holding people back from really endorsing the Xbox.
It definitely feels like, sticking with the Top Gear thing, it definitely feels like PlayStation, like they were BMW and then BMW brought out Ferrari, right? Like a real leap forward. And then Xbox is like, hey, we made this best thing. It's like a car, and it's a really good car. And everyone's on like hyperfuel. But there's no hyperfuel. But the car's really good.
Yeah.
But there's no hyperfuel. There's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to just be the guy that rags on Xbox, but the real thing is, why am I getting your console, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to have a reason to be here. Fable is at least 2021, bare minimum. Well, no, it's got to be 2022. There's no way it's coming out next year.
I think it's 2022 or 2023 at least.
And I think 2023 or 24.
Yeah.
That isn't enough. There's no real Halo. No new Halo.
Yeah.
There's no Gears of War. I mean, Forza, but that's like a reskin. It's a first-party reskin game. Which, look, don't get me wrong. That is the benchmark for a lot of racing games and for visuals and stuff. But it is ultimately a reskin.
Yep.
There's no, like, deep pulling force.
Yeah.
And, I mean, is Medium out?
Nope.
Like, where's Medium?
Pushed to December, I think, something like that.
Medium would have been a really, at least interesting, right? At least they could have said, look, our big titles, they're coming. You know Halo. Mm-hmm. You know Gears of War. You know Fable. They're coming. Here is another first party that's going to show you what to look forward to in those next games.
Yeah.
But it's not ready. And 12 minutes, which is one of the games I'm actually most keen on the Xbox, and that was before the cast, which the cast is incredible. Mm-hmm. is not a AAA title.
Yeah, and it's not a system seller.
Yeah.
It's not a reason for you to plump down
Exactly.
£500 to go get one.
Exactly. It's not Endgame. You know, it's got to be...
The one other game that we thought at the time might have been a system seller, a reason to buy it. Do you remember Bright Memory Infinite?
Yeah.
Came out today with the reviews, and it's not good. It's like at the 55 level.
Oof.
Yes, so that's troubling. That's troubling, and that would have been something that really showcased the power of the thing, because it did look gorgeous, genuine,
it
like
did
next
look
to
good.
But maybe that's because it's being made by one person.
That was the thing. Bright Memory was most interesting because it was made by one guy.
Yeah.
But also, do you remember there's in it like a hook where he like hooks up to a guy and goes up.
Yeah.
And like pulls over to the dude and like gets him down.
Yeah.
I happened to notice that this one guy made that look way smoother than, let's say, I don't know, hypothetically, Master Chief in Halo Infinite. Like, that really... I'm sorry, I'm really burned on Halo Infinite. So it's
okay, it's your ex, I get it, we get it.
They are. They're my Xbox.
Oh, boy.
Again, like, we don't know anything about these things.
We don't know much. I think the thing is that they try to tap in, and they do highlight it often, is that these consoles, the main thing that you're going to do with them is play video games with them. The PlayStation seems to have the video games. And of the launch games, and we're going to talk about comparisons of launch games, which I think is actually amazing right now. The launch games for the PS5 are all in the 8s and 9s and 7s and stuff like that. So they're all in that area right
solid,
there.
minimum solid.
So you've got a lot of options, and you've got solid options.
Plus the PS collection.
So you can play great games of the previous generation on your new one.
For the record... And
let me just finish this off. So, in comparison, people are saying, this is what every review is reflecting, is that on the Xbox, you don't have that.
No.
The only thing that you do have is the backwards compatibility feature, which now seeing it makes sense why the whole marketing was, we have the biggest launch lineup ever. When we say launch lineup, we mean all the games that came out previously that you can play on this console, and why they kept pushing backwards compatibility, because they foresaw that this was not going to, they were not going to have any games at launch.
And this is the thing, because the PS5s are also almost entirely backwards compatible, but they haven't pushed it because they have new games. That's the big deal. That's the thing that people are like, but is it backwards compatible? The only reason you think that's important is because Microsoft doesn't have anything new to show you. That's why they push so hard to make it look like a big deal.
That was quite interesting when they came out with these. So when Digital Foundry did the testing of the backwards compatibility on the PS5, it was amazing. They were saying it was a home run. It was the best thing. It was great. This was fantastic. They said that Xbox Series X did it a little bit better, but it was fantastic. Why did they keep quiet for so long? Because they were talking about all these new games.
It's another feature. It's like saying they didn't make a big deal about this, but the grip on the DS5 controller is little X, squares, triangles, and circles. It's just a little extra feature. It's not a big deal. Of course, it does this thing. And it has a light on the back.
You're gonna love it.
It's wireless. They didn't need to tell you it's wireless. It's a feature.
Exactly.
Right. It's just a thing that it does. And I wanted, lastly, to touch on this about the backwards compatible stuff, which is that with the PS Plus collection, the games in there, God of War alone. Let me say this. The Last of Us came out on PS3.
Yes.
When we got The Last of Us remastered, it still holds up.
Yeah.
It's an incredible game. It looks beautiful and all that stuff. God of War, I don't feel is going to move out of anyone's top fives, if not number one spot, potentially ever. And I mean it, ever, unless it's pushed out by other God of War games.
I was just going to say...
Cyberpunk. Right, I was
going to say the next God of War might have taken what it already knows and make it just fractionally better, and then push it down. This God of War a bit down further down.
Exactly. And in that much, the Xbox has backwards compatible games, but the PlayStation has God of War, which is potentially it's so far the best game ever made.
The backwards compatible game. The game.
There's nothing else that competes with it, and so it does make me worry a bit. I want the Xbox to do well. The competition's good. I have seen on Twitter a few Xbox chimneys.
Yes, that's also one of the topics. Let's bring it up now, actually. So there have been some videos going around on Twitter of a couple of Xboxes Essentially turning into a chimney where they're
Yeah.
having clouds of smoke coming out the top.
Churning out smoke.
A lot of smoke. I thought it's comically large. These clouds of smoke. A lot of people are saying that this is Xbox X Cloud running on the on the Series X right there.
Yeah,
a lot of fun stuff like that. When it first came out, it was like, oh my god, is this like a problem? We saw like 2 or 3 videos pop up. What was your feelings when you saw that?
First things first, there's one where the cloud's so big, I'm like, that's not coming. Like, have you ever seen a drill burn up?
Yeah.
Like, it puts out smoke, but like...
It's like a wisp of smoke coming out of it, and you hear some crackling and whatnot.
Yeah. It's not... So I'm like, that's too much. That's very funny, and it supports my bias of being a Sony pony.
Yeah.
But like,
It's comical.
This is fake.
Yeah.
But the one that I saw most recently... It's about the right amount of smoke.
Yes.
And there's like a TV playing and you can see the light in the smoke. And knowing what little I know about like graphics and editing and stuff, that is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially as like an altered reality thing, which is that it's not a whole CG scene.
Yeah.
It's that smoke and the lighting effect, which is matched to the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That is very hard. That is going above and beyond for, in my opinion, above and beyond for a joke. There are some people out there with the skill that would, I guess, want to do it.
And the time and the thing like that was the first one that I saw. That one where it's like,
That
and I
one
put it up
looks
on the
real,
screen
yeah.
and it was like just a hint of smoke coming out, and then when the TV in the background turned on, the light affected the smoke. Everyone was saying it was fake, and I assumed they meant it was like CG, and I was like, I know, like you said, I know a little bit about graphics and whatnot, and that's a very hard effect to pull off, and to do it just for the jokes of it for a Twitter video.
Yeah.
That's
for a
a
Twitter
lot of,
video that may go viral, but you don't make money on these videos.
it's a lot of effort for
Yeah.
nothing right there.
And how dare you?
Shut up, Siri.
This update sucks.
It really does. It really does. And then I saw the second one, which had a cloud of smoke. It reminded me of the smoke coming out of the chimney of the train in Back to the Future 3.
Yes.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, okay, someone's fucking with us here. Something's going wrong. Anyway, we don't know exactly how they did those ones.
Right.
But other people have come out with their Xboxes, and quite bravely, I have to say, because I wouldn't have done this with mine, have taken vape smoke and blowed it into the base, and it funnels everything straight through, and there's an obscene amount of smoke that comes out. Now, I was like, okay, that could have been how you achieved that effect.
But the thing is, if you take a vape hit or whatever and blow it into and blow it into the Xbox, there's going to be other vapor around. You're going to be like, this is a room in which people are vaping, and of course the fans are going to move it. That's not what it looked like.
That's what everyone said as well, because in that video where he does it, you see around the base of it, it's all smoky. And every other video we've seen the base of it, there's no smoke there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't want to officially say that these are Xbox that are broken, because the first one, if it was just that, I would have been like, ooh.
Yeah, just one, you'd be like, ooh.
And that first one was a bit more believable because it was just a bit of smoke. But the second one came out and I was like, that's comical.
It looks like the Titanic. Plumes of...
What is this?
Yeah.
So I just went, okay, I'm not accepting this. I'm going to wait until we see more of them, and then that'll be my thing. But that is happening out there. But what's worse? Actually, no, we won't go into that one. No. There is another thing, but it's separate to that. But
Okay.
That's pretty comical. We don't know what's going on. If you've seen those videos that we put up on the screen, you can laugh at them for now. There might be an issue in the future where Xboxes are exploding. I don't know.
I hope not.
I hope not as well.
You would also expect that at this level now, and I have been upfront saying if anyone has reliability issues, my money would be on the PlayStation, because it's like a ton of proprietary brand new technology.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be, but if any, my money would be on that to go wrong, because the Xbox stuff, other than it being like the newest for like the ray
tracing?
Ryzen stuff, like other than that stuff being like new and fancy, it's the current way of doing processing and graphics and RAM and cooling. Nothing's really changed. It's just new stuff.
Yeah.
If anything's going to be reliable, it's going to be the stuff that's the newest in the way it's been done for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be that. So I would have expected the Xboxes to do really well, unless a few had catastrophic failures, which does happen. Lemons get made.
I was actually more worried about the Xbox for one reason.
Okay.
Because it's all so condensed in there. I also watched the Digital Foundry breakdown video where they went to Xbox, Microsoft, and they unpacked it. And it's all like the motherboard is split into two motherboards.
Right.
So like it would have been like a long
What, with a
motherboard.
ribbon
Yeah, they put like a
connector?
ribbon on it and like
Okay.
that. And I was like, and they packed it in, and then the power supplies right up against it and whatnot. And I was like,
Could be an issue for cooling for sure.
I thought so, but everyone's been saying it's silent and whatnot, so I'm guessing it's okay. However, the PlayStation, they put a thermal camera on it. Apparently, that's the coolest of them all. So the jet engine PS4s that we've had are a thing of the past. We don't need to worry about them anymore.
I remember the PlayStation being fairly quiet early on as well. You know, the PS4 was okay until you were wringing every last thing out of it.
Give it a couple years and it'll be the same as well. Yeah?
I will say, of the two, or maybe I'm just more, because I was a big Xbox bot back in the day. Like the Red Ring of Death was a very, I'm not going to say it was a very common issue because the Xbox 360 did very well.
Yeah.
Probably because people had to go through a few, but I felt like that was common. Most of my friends had at least one. I had two.
It was common enough that me, who wasn't on an Xbox, heard about it.
Whereas,
and this was before it was console wars and
Yeah.
whatnot. It was like, you had an Xbox, you had a PlayStation.
I don't feel like that's true of any of the other, like any of the early any of the PlayStations.
Yeah.
And also one of the Xbox faults, the 360 faults, could be fixed by overheating it even more.
Yeah, you had to like wrap it in a towel
Yeah.
and then turn it on, cause it to heat more, and it made the solder inside melt into the correct position.
The issue was that it had overheated and
How bizarre.
a piece of solder in a very specific spot shifted.
Yeah.
Because it got too loose. And so the fix was to wrap a towel around it, overheat it, and then it would melt and reconnect. And I had that fault and it did work.
This is the stupid. This one.
I was like, it's dead anyway. It can't get more dead.
Yeah, it can't get more
Yeah,
dead.
I'll try it.
It's one of those things where, like, an urban legend type thing. It's like, I hear if you put your phone into a microwave, it charges it in 2 seconds. Don't do that. Don't do that.
For the
It
love
won't
of God, don't do that.
But it's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, wrap your console up and then turn it on and leave it there for half an hour. That's not gonna work. Oh, it worked. What?
I will say as well.
How did that work?
Especially those consoles were going to be most prone to it because that was the era where, like the first real wave of like kid hardcore gamers had access to everyday consoles.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I had an N64, but it was at my dad's place, so I got to play it on weekends, right? But the 360, it was at mine, or the PS3, right? Like I had it when I was young, and had time, but old enough that I had money.
Yeah.
And how many times would I mean, I think we did this plenty of times where on like the PS3 or whatever, we would just be playing zombies and leave it.
Yeah. Just leave it running.
Yeah, I think my PlayStation and my Xbox 360 both were on for at least 3 days at certain points, right? With the game paused, waiting to come back. Luckily, TV off because those TVs, you would burn the screen.
Screen burn was a real thing on those old TVs.
But like, you know, those consoles really got put through the paces. And I feel like guys coming into this new generation, the style of game isn't one where you will leave it on for 3 days.
Yep.
For one thing, so they're not going to be exposed to that kind of wear and tear. And the gamers like us are a bit older, and gaming has evolved. So that, like the likelihood of playing a game like Nazi Zombies for 3 days, relatively low.
Yeah.
It's more likely you'll play it with your mates until you wipe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I suspect because of the way gaming has moved on and the way gaming in particular, these consoles are going to have an easier time of it.
Yeah,
you know?
they will. And with everything being more efficient and now being so like, they can be bigger. I mean, can they be bigger? So the PS5 is a monstrous computer.
It's a large beast.
It's a large boy, so it's got more space to
Yeah.
put more cooling, so it could withstand being on longer if it wanted to. Whereas back in the day, it was all about being compact and hidden and away, so your parents didn't mind it so much because gaming wasn't generally accepted as much as it is now. So yeah. But I'm excited, I have to tell you, for the next gen to arrive to us.
Yes.
It's arrived everywhere but us.
Yes.
James got his Assassin's Creed machine on the 10th. He got the Xbox Series X just for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
I love it. He posted it on Twitter. He was like, "What have we got here then?" And everyone immediately took my joke and they're like, "It's an Assassin's Creed machine." Yeah, that's what it is. Right? I was like,
That's what it is. Which is funny because that's what we've been calling the AC unit there. I do want to ask, because it came up naturally.
Go on.
Why do you have 2 copies of Valhalla?
So, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. So, you know the company that I used to buy my games, Shop2?
Yeah.
I've been buying them for years, and they've been fantastic and whatnot, up until the lockdown recently.
Right.
I've not been getting my games. I used to get them early. I used to get them like 2-3 days early sometimes because they have a promise on their website that I only just found out about recently, thanks to Dave Bindus, that if they don't hit the release day, you get £5 back.
Right.
And I was like, I never knew about that, but now I know why everything comes early.
So it's way cheaper for them to get it to you the day before.
Exactly. And then they can be like, oh, well, we do this for delivery. What if it's delayed? We don't want them to be upset. And then they get away with it. But for recently, I've been getting my games a day late, 2 days late, 3 days late. You remember Last of Us Part 2 I got late? Don't know what happened with that. I ordered one from Shop2. I said, this is going to be the last time I try you guys. Yeah. Gave them plenty of notice. They said they shipped it out 6 days in advance. Yeah. I got it the day after release. Yeah. I was like, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's so ridiculous. Not using these
guys anymore.
Not using them anymore, so they're gone for me. But on the release day, I was like, I've only got like a week to play this game, and then PS5 is going to come out, and I'm going to be in Spider-Man, I'm going to be in Demon Souls and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy Valhalla, and then when I get the version that I get from Shop2, I'll just give that back as a refund. So that's why I have 2 copies, not because I'm becoming an AC YouTuber, okay?
Yeah, because you need 2 copies for the same console to be an AC YouTuber. It's actually in the contract.
It is, yes. When you join the 4 pillars, they say, have you got 2 copies of every game for the same console that you're just utterly not going to use? Yes, okay, you can join the guild. Guild. But that's the reason why I've got that. Okay. A lot of people saw it and I don't know if they have the impression that I'm a huge YouTuber, because people are like, so are you giving away a copy of Valhalla? I'm like, no, I'm not rich.
This is going to cost me 60 quid.
Exactly. The hell is... But thank you all for contacting me anyway. A lot of people had fun with that. They were like, God damn, this guy, right?
I mean, it used to be... I have a hard time with giveaways because do you remember back in the day of like, I think it was like 2012, 2013, somewhere in there, with like White Boy 7th Street and all these guys, X-Jaws and all these dudes doing these like, subscribe, add to your favorites, leave a comment, and we're doing like a 360 giveaway. Yeah. It's because they were making literally 10 to 50k a video. Yeah. Because it was the golden era, right? Yeah. So giving away an Xbox was not a big deal. It was totally, you know, they would make it peak.
They're right. But nowadays,
so because of that and how just, I don't know, shilly I don't like the idea of giveaways. But if we got to a point, like hopefully when this channel gets to 1,000 subs and we can add the AdSense to it, and not be shadow banned. Yes. If you keep your mouth shut on streams,
I don't know what you're talking about. I've cleaned up my act now.
That hopefully we can get to a point where like the AdSense supports the YouTube enough that we can be like, we bought 2 copies of Cyberpunk 2097 or whatever.
Yeah, because that'll be the way that comes out. Right. Could you imagine?
We're giving one away.
It delays so much it goes past 2077. It's like, so wait, this is a historical game now?
It's a historical retelling.
Do you mind if we move on to our next topic?
Let's do it.
I wanted to quickly compare, because I only just noticed this the other day when I was thinking about it. When I was looking at because we did an episode of our Metacritic scores.
We did.
And I've looked at a couple of them to sort of gauge. I haven't gone back to look at my one, so I'm going off of memory. I don't remember
what I did either.
And I have a feeling
we've done poorly.
I have a feeling we've done very poorly. And the guys in the Discord, Dan as well, Z Crappy, a lot of them have taken note of our scores and have added their ones in there. So it's going to be a good episode when we get back to that.
That'll be interesting. I will say from the looks of things, were way too optimistic on a lot of this, especially me. Like, Mr. This stuff, because I was saying these games get way higher than I think they deserve, like even close to deserve. So I went a lot higher than I would normally be inclined to do.
Turns out we were being very optimistic right now.
Very optimistic. But luckily the rule was we can't go under. We have to go.
We have to be.
If it goes.
We can't go over. So.
Wait, was that right?
Under Bruce's price rounds, you can be lower, but if you...
Oh, yeah, we've been fricked.
We've been fricked. It's gonna end up being 1 point to 0 or 0 point to all, whichever way it's gonna be there. Anyway, I was looking at those Metacritic scores, and I saw a lot of them are getting very, very good scores. And I was like, is this the best launch lineup ever? And I went back to look at PS4's launch lineup.
It was not the best.
And let me read out some games here, and you stop me if you hear one of them that you think, my God, that was amazing.
Okay.
At least on the level of like what people are saying Spider-Man is or something like
So
that.
yeah, we're not talking God of War, but we're just talking like a really solid way to start a generation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Flower, Killzone Shadowfall, Knack, Resogun, Sounds and Shapes, Escape Plan, Flow, Angry Birds Star Wars.
Well, there you go.
There we
You
go.
had Star Wars in there, so
Assassin's Creed Black Flag,
not for me.
Call of Duty Ghosts,
Fuck no.
FIFA 14,
No.
Battlefield 4, not too bad, but not fantastic.
No, it was okay.
Just Dance 2014, Injustice Gods Among Us, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Madden NFL 25, NBA 2K14.
I'll tell you, there are two games on there that I'm like, yeah, that's solid. AC Black Flag, only because I'm actually a big fan of the show Black Sails.
Yeah.
And I'm not really an AC guy, but I hear Black Flag's actually excellent. I hear it's great. I don't know. Battlefield 4 was good.
Yeah.
Not like...
Didn't change the world.
And also, Battlefield 4, I think, was one of the better Battlefields,
Yeah.
but we played COD for the first 9 months and then moved over to Battlefield when we got tired of it. That was always the way for us. And then Lego games are always good. So 3 games that... And I will go out and say, I don't know AC games, so we'll leave that aside, but Battlefield 4 and Lego... But Lego's probably great in its own way. It's like a Just Dance kind of thing. Like, none of these are like, oh my God... blockbusters, you know?
Yeah. None of them are outstanding, fantastic. I had fun with Resogun. I had fun with Killzone Shadowfall. I had fun with Lego Marvel Superhero. I had fun with Battlefield, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But none of them would I go. We have to go back and play this game. None of them ones.
No one.
However, listening to the PS5 game launch right now, Spider-Man Miles Morales,
Solid.
Astro's Playroom, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, maybe yours,
okay,
you know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, again getting 8.5s out of 10.
Yeah.
Demon Souls getting 9s out of 10. Bug Snacks, apparently it's good, maybe not for us.
I noticed you skipped one.
Oh, sorry, Godfall, that's right, that's out there, or something like that. Watch Dogs Legion, Dirt 5, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Devil May Cry, Fortnite, Destruction All Stars. There's a lot of games in here that you would go, ooh, I can't wait to play those, or I can't wait to play that.
I'll say this. DMC5 Special Edition is likely to be quite big in its niche. Black Ops could be sick.
I think it could be as well.
Especially because, like you said, it's got the 120 FPS compatibility. It's going to be in, like, I don't know if it'll be in 4K at that.
I think it is, apparently. That's what at least it says online. It's 4K and 120 FPS.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, enormous game. Demon Souls, great. AC Valhalla, I don't intend to play it. And I actually asked on Twitter recently, like, honest question, how people finding it. Some people think it's amazing. Some people think they're going to wait for the next-gen console to run it because it's running slow or having issues.
We'll talk a little bit about that, my feelings on it, because I have been playing it. We'll talk a little bit about that.
And games like, obviously, Fortnite has withstood the test. It's really well regarded in its for what it is. And Destruction All Stars, I actually don't know a lot about it, but it seems like it could be a Fortnite. We could be talking about Fortnite and Destruction All Stars as, like...
That's what they're aiming for, that's what it seems like. But in comparison...
Way stronger,
right? And it goes back to the thing that I said. I think it was like maybe 2 months ago. Do you remember at the beginning? When the PS4 came out, it was like, this is probably going to be the last generation of consoles, at least physical consoles that we have for the next generation. That's probably going to be the last one. And then we're going to move over to cloud stream. We're going to move over to a stick that you just put into your monitor. And then we got towards the PS5 and we're like, I'm more sure now than ever that there is going to be another generation after the PS5.
Oh, yeah.
With this lineup, it's like gaming is only getting better.
So, normally, prior to this anyway, the way it worked was like, you're in the current generation, the next generation comes out and there's only the first few developers in that first year.
Yeah.
Right? The guys that only developed a game for next gen, there's no going backwards. And so those games were your, like, knacks. You know, they weren't...
The best game of the PS4, yeah.
Whereas this, it feels just like a new year for games.
Yeah.
And it happens that they're next gen. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like there's that... they had to step. They just made the game, and knowing that next gen was coming, because they've had 5 generations of this,
Yeah.
they're like, no, this needs to be able to go on the thing.
They really nailed it. Really nailed it.
It does.
It's a great time to be a gamer. Great time to be a gamer right here.
You know what's funny about the cloud thing, which I said this for VR, but not for cloud gaming.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway. My thing for VR, which I said about the PSVR, was that it's not quite there yet. It will gain in popularity, and I think the PlayStation's a big mover for that. It will gain in popularity. But this stuff, even if it was there, it would still take 5 to 10 years for people to adopt it, for it to become mainstream. And we just assumed that wouldn't be the case with streaming. But I think, especially because not everybody has good enough internet, but streaming only, like cloud-based services, are not going to be mainstream. I don't see it in this generation. Like PS5, maybe PS6 time, but even then I doubt it.
I think we were expecting the companies who are going to do streaming technology to go all in and put all of their chips on the table and give it all of its stuff. But every single one who's tried streaming, even Microsoft, with all of their money and all of their might and their ability to lose money whenever they feel like it. Google as well.
The Stadia is not exactly killing it.
They've come out of it with sort of like, so we've got a streaming service. Give that a shot. Give that a try. And then when nobody flocks to it, what do you expect?
Yeah.
We expected people to be like, all right, guys, streaming is here and you can get the best stuff for this little price. Go nuts, everyone. It's the best thing in the world. But no one did that. Nope. So that's why it didn't go anywhere. Yeah. And you can't blame the gamer afterwards when they go, well, I have no faith in you then, so I'm going to go to consoles.
Yeah, completely agree.
Exactly. Console master race right there.
The other thing, just to cap this off, is that while you said it earlier, and I completely agree, these consoles are primarily gaming devices, my PlayStation 4 is my home entertainment system.
Yes.
It does a lot of my YouTube, unless I'm like on my laptop, you know, I watch YouTube on it, I watch DVDs on it, Netflix, Amazon, all that stuff. As well as, it's my primary function is gaming, but my chick doesn't play games, she watches Netflix on it.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with the streaming service, but you are paying money for it.
No.
Right? So the consoles are entertainment systems, they're Blu-ray players and stuff, as well as incredible gaming devices. I don't see them going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I also don't see, and we've said like discless looks like it's going to be a bigger thing in the future. I don't see discs going anywhere for a long time.
For a while, right? Especially because like we're going up the route of everything's really high resolution, so it's going to require a lot of space.
Yeah.
And internet's still not in the area it's supposed to be.
Not even close.
Until they can get that sorted, there's not really going to work. It's not really going to work.
Internet speeds are like battery life for phones, where like what the phone can do, what the game can do is like the steep rise, and what the batteries can keep up with and what the internet can keep up. This is really gradual thing, but like you're asking it to
go full throttle when it really can't handle it for that long.
Right, exactly. That's why the Nokia 3210 lasts for like 4 days of consistent use.
You're not asking it to do anything.
Does 4 hours, right? So I feel like the internet is the big limiting factor. Yeah. And not just speeds, because some people have great speeds, like you have great speeds.
Yeah.
Although I would say in 10 years' time, if you're still at this speed, it probably will look like it's lacking.
Yeah.
Especially the amount of data that we're talking about. But it's just not out there. No. There are a lot of people that just have very slow internet.
Yeah.
And not even that far away from even in major cities, you know? So the infrastructure just isn't there. So I think cloud-based and internet-only gaming's a long way away.
Very long way away. Shall we move on to some other topics? These are some smaller topics that have happened, but actually some of them quite interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with some good stuff. Okay. First of all, The Last of Us Part 2 and God of War, after receiving their 60 FPS updates that they've all been given to make them all look gorgeous, they've also come out and confirmed that they will also have DualSense support with haptic feedback.
Yes!
Do you remember I told you about the feeling of the Leviathan axe in God of War?
You did say it.
Pulling it back. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
And then they go and bloody do it. I cannot wait to play that again. There are people out there trying to describe it. Obviously, it's so hard to describe such a foreign thing because we've never had it before. But they're saying, like, when you pull out Kratos' shield, when you deploy it, and when you pull back the Leviathan axe, you get that feeling of a thud in your hand. I can only imagine it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to get it and test it in front of you guys. It's going to be also amazing.
It's going to be great. And this is what we were saying about the DS5, which is you have God of War, which doesn't have to... God of War 4 does not have to improve. If you're somehow added immersion,
Yeah.
it goes from the great... Like, that, potentially, you know, where I'm like, God of War, Cyberpunk, and The Last of Us 1 and 2. For me, they're like, you know, squint and they're the same.
They're there.
You add this haptic in... Suddenly, maybe it nudges up, but then they've done it for The Last of Us 2 as well.
So that's brought up as well.
I don't know. I'm really struggling, but
it could be really, really cool. I can't wait to try it out in a week's time. By the way, this might be a good. This is definitely not a good time to mention. This probably would have been good at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
But on launch day, I know, obviously, I'm going to be here. We're going to go collect our consoles together. Yeah. You're probably going to want to take it home, or you can stay here. It's totally up to you. You can decide on the day.
Yeah.
But on the day, I will be doing a stream as soon as I get it. I'll be turning on the camera. I'll open it up so you guys can see our reaction. Not a full unboxing video, but you guys will get to see us unbox it, and we'll get our initial reactions, and we can play our first games together and be happy together that next gen is finally here. So you guys can join me for that.
Because it will be a packed day. I'll probably stick around. We can do a stream.
Okay.
Because then at least we're doing some content on that day. Hopefully we'll remember to front load some content.
Yeah, probably. We'll get some stuff done by then, right?
Yeah, we'll figure some stuff out. Yeah. Definitely not happening.
Wait, conversations?
I know we have some like tests and comparisons that we want to record and do some stuff just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So but I can hang around for an hour or two and then go home and start my stuff.
I mean, maximum it'll be like 12 o'clock you'll be going back home, innit? So that's nothing.
Why did you say that out loud?
Oh, damn it. Something's going to happen now. Anyway, so that's going to be happening.
At that local store be like...
We're getting there at 4 a.m. Why are you talking about queues? We're going to be there before everyone.
We probably are as well.
Guys, look forward to that. The next thing I wanted to talk about. So, Cyberpunk 2077's Twitter account got a little bit of attention recently.
Okay.
They haven't tweeted out themselves. You know how usually they have those happy hey guys, it's this many days to think. What's happening here? And they post up memes, and the guy who are running it, because there's multiple people, are quite funny.
Yeah, they seem to get what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
They've gone quiet for a little bit, and people took that as, oh my god, something terrible is going to happen. When all the other delays before, they were chatty, and then the delays happened. So there's no correlation, but people think that.
Let me come in. I'll jump in.
Go on.
If it was me running it, I would wait till you're on the next day after the previous. So if we were like 30, let's say we're at 31 days and then there was a delay. When it gets to 30 days, just be like, hey guys, 30 days, and act as if
time skipped to the future.
Act as if like it was totally fine. 30 days, can't wait. It's going to be amazing. That's what I would do.
In their Twitter timeline, it's just the next thing is like, so 4 weeks ago it said 30 days, 31 days, and then 4 weeks later it says 30 days.
Like you quote tweet yourself and be like, hey guys, 30 days,
yes.
Can't wait for it, eyes emoji.
That would be great.
That's the way I would handle it. But so, as you were saying,
they got really quiet and people got worried.
Yeah.
And then somebody saw that the banner said Cyberpunk 2077 pre-order now rather than the release date there.
Right.
And someone said, oh, they've changed the banner to not have the release date anymore. That must mean a delay is coming, or they're not confident in that day. Right. It made the rounds. A bunch of people reported on it. Yeah. But then somebody picked up on that Wayback Machine, the website that you can archives the internet. Yeah. Turns out they never had the release date on the thing. And then that day when all the news outlets started talking about it, they just changed it to the 10th of December.
Right.
Now, they were talking about the release date of the November 19th, the day before the delay was happening. Yeah. So let's not take this as confirmation.
No.
But don't worry, guys. They're still on track, at least for now, for the 10th of December. That's what they're saying.
For the record,
and
I said it before, I think they should have done one big delay instead of these extra potential little ones. Like, and I know they said, look, it doesn't sound like 21 days is much, but it is enough.
Yeah.
I feel like they shouldn't have done the two. Do a big delay it from, instead of March of 2020, March of 2021. It would have sucked. We would have got over it. You could have started the night wires to get us back up and hyped. And they would have had more than enough time to finish it, more than enough time to work on bug fixes, more than enough time to start on DLC so that the DLC comes out way sooner than you were expecting.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh my god, I can't believe the game just came out, because that's all you remember. Right?
And we're getting this DLC.
And the DLC's ready. And that update for the multiplayer, it's coming in 6 months. Like, that's the way they should have done it.
Do Do you have any faith in this 10th of December release date? Because everybody's saying no.
I'll be honest, no.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they'll make 10th of December. I feel like 20 days, although they say it's enough, well, why wasn't the last day delay enough? I do have faith in CDPR.
Yeah.
Like, I think that whatever they make's going to be great. I do love them as a company. I just don't know if it's coming, and I don't want to be heartbroken again with another delay announcement.
That's the thing for me. I can't bear another heartbreak.
No.
I want to say right now, my heart is telling me, believe in it, Eddie.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
The 10th of December is the day, and then you're going to have the whole of Christmas to play it. It's going to be great. You're going to love it, and you're going to forget all about these delays you had before.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to prepare my heart for the utter heartbreak that I will get when they go, guys, it's not happening again. We've encountered a problem. Current gen is still fucking with us.
Yeah, so stop bringing it on current gen.
We've moved on to next gen, but we're still working on current gen.
Bring out a delayed patch current gen for current gen.
And it's not working out. But I want to say, I'm going to go on the record and say I think it's going to come out on the 10th.
I hope you're right. I want you to be right really badly.
Who doesn't? Could you imagine, right?
I do worry that as much as I'm a fanboy of CDPR, because of the stuff they did for The Witcher, right? Just how good it was, that little thing in the case thanking us, and I'm like, you don't know me, and everyone got one, but it felt personal. How good the DLC was. They could go the way of Bethesda, right? They could be this. It's possible, especially enough delays, because these are like.
Bethesda was exactly what you're saying. They were this great company that everyone
could
looked
do no
forward
wrong.
to.
How could Bethesda make a bad game?
And then
Fallout 4.
Small cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Fallout 76, like they just start like lowering the bar and lowering the bar and lowering the bar. And I'm not saying they're lowering the bar for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But enough of these heartbreaks will cause a rift in the relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas one big uncomfortable thing would have been better. We would have got over it and actually get the game.
Yeah. Maybe though it's something that they didn't anticipate. I mean, hindsight is 2020. We can say this afterwards, but if it was something that they genuinely couldn't foresee, and then they went, "Oh God, we're gonna have to delay people again." Well, we have to do it. We can't not do it. So fuck it, we'll do it again. And then it's but maybe they were really confident with November 19th, and then they're going, we're really confident with December 10th, and then they have to delay it again. Oh, fuck.
Like if they do delay it again, one, I hope it's long enough. I don't want another delay, which they should have done from the beginning. But look, if the game comes out and it's incredible, then this will have sucked. But like, you make a relationship work, don't you? We're in love. We made it work.
Also, we make a relationship work with one of the greatest games ever in return.
Exactly.
You forgive everything, forgive and forget.
Exactly. If it comes out and is what we, to be honest, if it's even half of what we suspect it will be, it's going to be potentially the best game ever made.
Yeah.
Potentially. If it's what we hope it's going to be, and my big thing is what the story is, because we know nothing about the story. Mm-hmm. It could edge out God of War. I don't know how it will do that. That is a real hard ask, but it could. The game could be that good.
Yeah.
And we'll forgive a few delays. It sucked, but we'll forgive it.
We will.
But it's got to be hard and fast. It's got to really be out. It can't be like, it's coming next week. Next week.
We can't take any more hits. We need this now. We need this now. Our next topic is from the guys over at Square Enix.
Mm-hmm.
Square Enix recently reported a 6.5 billion yen loss, which is around about $63 million US, for their games division, which is driven mainly by Marvel's Avengers. They made Marvel's Avengers here, which should have been the cash cow because it came out at the height of the MCU.
Months after the Avengers Endgame.
Exactly. So it should have been anything Marvel branded should have been an instant seller, make you tons of money, and especially in the gaming scene where people have money to spend and want to spend money on games.
Yeah. With these much loved heroes and
much loved heroes everyone likes. There were some other things in this financial report that people got and extrapolated to work out that means that they were 60% down on the volumes of what they expected to sell for Marvel's Avengers. They sold roughly around 3 million units.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot. In comparison...
Is that worldwide or
worldwide.
Oof.
In comparison, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, the last Call of Duty that came out, which should be on the same sort of level. Marvel, massive name right there. It's got the Avengers in it.
Marvel Avengers. Endgame is the biggest movie of all time, right?
Exactly, yeah, it's biggest. That should have been the same one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has recently surpassed 30 million copies. So that's 10% of what that's made.
September, yeah.
As of September right there. 3 million, 30 million. Just to give it a little comparison to how badly Marvel Avengers has done.
It costs many, many millions to make games. To like a game that, I was going to say that size and quality. A game that size, a game of that, like, an undertaking of that size is like 100 million.
That's what they said. Roughly around that it cost. They worked out from this financial piece that it was roughly around about 100 million to make this game, which is a lot for a game to make.
It's a lot, and I think like I can see how it costs that much. It's not like Halo Infinite being I can't see how it costs 500 million to make a game,
that either.
Especially what they showed.
People taking a lot of bonuses. That's what they.
Right, but like I can see how Marvel would have cost that much to make. For all the stuff that people don't like about it, there is some stuff in there that's very expensive. There's real mocap, high quality voice acting. A lot of it's very polished. You might not have liked the final product, but it was very well done.
Yeah.
So,
how do you feel about this loss though, in terms of like Square Enix and stuff?
I think it's really good. I think it's really healthy.
Really healthy.
I really do. Because I think. I'm sorry, audio virgins. I'm coughing up a lung.
Up a lung, yeah, there you go.
Corona. So I think it's really healthy. I think enough of these games have flopped where these studios, maybe not Bethesda, but studios with sense, are looking at it going, look, we can't just phone some of this stuff in. We spent a lot of money on it and made a very high quality, shitty product.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't play this game because we played it at EGX.
Yeah.
Just felt like it was very on rails to me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that enough of these companies, especially Japan's very much like, well, it isn't working, change it or get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to worry about, the politics, how are these people going to find it? I didn't play the game, but apparently Kamala Khan was universally hated, character.
She was just so
and was
unauthentic.
Unauthentic. I did see someone play the first level, I believe, where like they go to this convention, and she was the voice actor, I presume, is quite talented. The lines and the way she was directed, horrendous. That character was awful. I hated that character 30 minutes into a stream, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't even playing it. And I think enough of these studios are looking at it going, like, we need quality characters and quality story, and the rest comes built on top of it, right? And I'm hoping that these losses hitting them in the wallet where it hurts will be enough for them to say it's not worth making these shitty games, especially, and I don't know, but I presume Kamala Khan was in there to appease a very specific audience that don't happen to buy your games or watch your movies, right? That just make a great game. Like Ellie ticks a lot of those lists, right? She's gay and female and all this stuff. Do I care? No. Is it relevant? No. She's an incredible character. She's incredibly well written, incredibly well acted in an incredible game. I don't care. No one cared. Because she's a great character. Yeah. And she has these things in her. Like, yeah, she ticks these lists. Fine, those people can be happy. But what they didn't do was compromise the quality of the game and the story for those things. Because ultimately, I don't care. It's my beef with Aloy. Is Aloy could have been an Ellie-esque figure or a Lara Croft, and for me, she has no character. Aloy is to me what most people think of Rey. You know, people have this Mary Sue problem with Rey, which is she's super powerful and never really fails at anything. Yeah. I have a fix to that, which I've said a million times, but I feel like Aloy, because she is this, spoiler alert, she's this like clone of that incredible genius, right? She never experiences anything new. She gets put in a new situation, but she instantly adapts to it. Yeah. She never has to struggle. There's never any wonder about what the world looks like or anything. I just find her soulless. And that's what I felt about Kamala Khan in those 30 seconds, which is exactly not what you want. I didn't feel that about Kid Ellie. Like, the first thing she does is tell this fucking Joel, 6'2" outlaw, exactly what she thinks.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to go with you. I don't know you. Fuck you, basically, right? You respect it. That's exactly what a 13, 14-year-old girl.
I think she was 13, something like
That's
that.
exactly what she's gonna say to this random dude that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
When her friend, the only person in the world she knows and trusts, has been shot.
Yeah.
Like, no way does she trust this guy. And then you watch this relationship develop. I think enough studios are losing money on these crappy games that they're going to notice it. And especially because the audience they're trying to appease complains anyway and doesn't buy your stuff. They don't buy your product. They don't want your product. They don't care about your product. They will complain anyway. So let them complain about a good product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like you said as well, like it is good for these companies to realize that we aren't just gonna buy any stupid thing just because you've purchased a big name.
No.
Just because you've purchased a title, it doesn't mean it's gonna instantly make money. You also do have to put effort into it. Now, the funny thing is that I also see why you said universally hated. There's always going to be a group of people that like it for a stupid reason.
I'm sure some people love it.
But the thing is that because I'm interested in to see. Personally, to me, this is a failure, and the numbers prove it's a failure.
Yes, yeah.
And I've seen my own footage, and I've had the similar sort of feelings where, like, this looks really phoned in. The characters just don't seem genuine. I don't like any of this. But there are people that like it. Let me see what it is that they like about it so I can hear their argument. And their argument is completely baseless. Everything that they say is just like, oh, it's the name of the Avengers. Yeah, but have they put it to good use? No. They haven't. And they really have no reason to like any of it.
Because we're comic book character fans. Right? We're fans of Thor and Hulk. And, like, I'm in that same boat. But playing a shitty Thor...
Yeah.
It isn't...
Not compelling.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, but it's Thor.
Yeah.
No, it's shit, though.
Exactly.
Right? Kratos was a better Thor than Thor.
And especially because and I don't understand how these people don't see it, because we have examples of other great games out there.
Absolutely.
So why are they not comparing it to those things? That's just my personal thoughts when I see those people. As you said, I'm glad that they've got this loss, so then it can prove to other people that you can't just take a name, pay money for it, and then you're gone. Same with so with Star Wars and whatnot. EA took Star Wars and they were like, we can just put it on any microtransaction game, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
They tried to trick us. Now, I will say Battlefront, what it ended up being is a great game.
Yeah.
Very true to Star Wars.
And also they took Star Wars and they made Jedi Fallen Order, which was genuinely
very good.
So when you do... And we rewarded them for it. Even though it was EA, we was like, you're going to make a good game? We'll buy it. We'll buy it.
And I do love that, and I hope this trend continues, that they realise that you can't just tack the name Marvel Avengers, which is huge, enormous. The only thing even coming close to it is Star Wars, and if you still frick it up, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And I hope they remember that when it comes to things like Fallout and Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, whatever. They need to remember this stuff, and I hope it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that they can spend a lot of money on really good processes, and with bad direction and bad writing, end up with a very poor product. Yeah. So,
The next thing that we're going to talk about, if you don't mind me moving on to the next one to get through this, Mass Effect Remastered is officially announced by EA.
Yep.
So you should be very happy about this. It's the original trilogy, apparently, being remastered in all of its glory. The only thing that's missing from it is the multiplayer. I don't know how big the multiplayer was.
Played it.
Yeah, probably not a big thing. But the original trilogy is being remastered. We didn't get any footage or any release date or anything like that. But
I'll vouch for it. This is the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a must-play.
One of those games.
It's a must-play. The one thing I'll say I hope they do is keep at least some of the original voice acting.
Yeah. They should. I mean, their voice acting shouldn't change, right?
Because look, if they can do it,
they can degrade the voice over time.
If they can do it much better, if somehow they manage to get a much better cast, I will accept it. But there are guys like Morden who should not be changed.
I think because it's a remaster and not a remake.
I hope you're right.
I think it's just going to be upgrade the visuals, make the textures a lot better, lighting a lot better, and then boom.
I hope you're right. This trilogy is like I didn't play Andromeda because of the things that I heard and the way it looked. When it looked like it came out as if it was competing with Mass Effect 1. I really did not vibe with the graphical. I thought it was very phoned in. This is great. as much as I've been saying you should play the Master Chief Collection, you should play these games. They are larger, they take longer to do, but man, are they good.
I've heard great things about them, especially from Ethan and whatnot. You've watched all of his videos on all the Mass Effect stuff because you're a big fan.
I have. I'm a fan of, for the record, both Ethan and Mass Effect.
Yep.
Who, by the way, was a sub of ours before he was a YouTuber. These are great. This is great news.
I've heard great things about them, and he did a whole piece on it, a whole retrospective on the universe of Mass Effect.
Oh, it's so good.
Which is, if you were going to ever lure me in to the Mass Effect universe, it would be to talk about the world it sets up and the universe it sets up, because that's the way to get me in.
It's sick.
Because that's the way that I got in. Because we don't know too much about Cyberpunk, but when I heard about the world of Cyberpunk, I was like, oh,
the world building.
okay, all right. Which consequently as well, Sabine.
Yeah,
I was messaging her talking about like the Patreon stuff, and apparently she also hurt her arm recently, and she couldn't game for a while, which was quite bad. Yeah. And the funny thing is, her husband was playing games on her behalf, and could you imagine both being gamers and playing them all? I said, "Do you want to play this?" I can't. Oh, that's so sad. But apparently she is now into Cyberpunk because of us talking about it, which is really cool.
Cyberpunk's great, and so. As a little Cyberpunk aside, because I did just finally catch up with your Trauma Team video.
Oh, yeah?
Trauma Team have been a huge help in my Cyberpunk game, because I have been taking abuse. I lost a hand the other day.
In your RPG game, tabletop RPG?
Yeah, the tabletop RPG. The price is different, because I have Trauma Team Gold, and they've saved my life like 4 times. It's real tough. But I do love that. I love, especially and this is the problem with Marvel Avengers. They had good characters and no world.
Yeah.
And this is where I think you would love Mass Effect as well. I love the idea of Sabine having her husband game so she can experience the game. Funnily enough, though, so I'm, as an aside, a big fan of like Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson, who voice Ellie and Abby in The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
And who was it? I think Ashley Johnson and her husband and Laura Bailey and her husband were all playing The Last of Us themselves.
Yeah.
And they had to play sort of like in tandem so they wouldn't spoil each other.
Right.
And I thought that was a really funny way for two people to want to play, but one's a little bit ahead so the other can't be in the room, or so like trying to balance it. Even though you kind of know where it's going because you voiced it, you didn't get to experience it.
That is a whole different thing, isn't it? Yeah. So that's quite cool.
it was just funny. It just reminded me of that.
Anyway, the Mass Effect trilogy is coming out at an unknown point in the future. Look forward to that.
That is huge. I hope they tweak the ending of 3, though. 3 had an underwhelming ending.
Really?
It was okay. The game was fine. But the ending of 2 is incredible. It's so good. It's so impactful. It's so meaningful. And then 3 picks up and you're like, okay, this is interesting. I wonder where it's going. And it raises all these questions about it raises all these questions about who's in control, right? Like, do you really have free will? And if
is this the Matrix?
There's that thing in Star Trek where the teleporters, where it deconstructs you and then reconstructs you.
Yeah.
But it's not those same atoms. So technically, every time you teleport, that version of you dies and a new one is created.
Yeah.
So are you really you?
Yeah.
Right. And in the third one, there's a similar kind of thing going on of are you really you? Because a lot of you's been reconstructed for various reasons.
Yeah.
And what if the people that reconstructed you put some extra stuff in there, or took some stuff out, or put something in so that you couldn't RoboCop them? Where you go to shoot the CEO, but you can't shoot the CEO.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have free will? Ooh. There's all sorts of underlying questions. It's not really brought up in the game, but if you think about it, which nerds
you have to peel back the layers,
right? And that's fascinating. And then the way it ends, you're just and then they all die, and then they all survive, right?
Spoiler alert.
They don't. It's just I don't know. It feels a bit phoned in at the end, but up until that ending, it's worth the journey, the destination. It's it's a road trip.
Right.
The point is the road trip, not getting where you're going.
Right. Yeah.
And it happens that getting where you're going is a bit underwater. It's an airport at the end of the day. You're flying home.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I get it.
But these are great. You would be very hard pushed to find a better use for your money.
Cool.
They're great.
Cool.
Now we can move on. I'm sorry. I really love these games.
It's all right.
I really love these games.
I like that you love them. Okay, the next topic that I wanted to bring up, and these are the few problems that have come out with the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
So, apparently at launch, the PS5 will not support internal expandable storage. So the PS5 can support one of those M2 memory cards that are just off the shelf. You can pick them up. There are some of them that you want to get that specifically that match the speed of the internal storage, so you can have a flawless experience. Those are not supported at all at launch.
Okay.
My guess is that they've software blocked it because there's a lot of theories going around as to why. No one actually knows. They haven't even said. I'm guessing it's a security issue. That people could obviously load some sort of malware onto this storage and then plug it in and then hack the PS5 or whatever it might be. And then get free games or whatever they want to do. And that's why they've blocked it at the beginning until they can work out that bug. And then they'll be like, go update, there you go, you can use it and do whatever you like after that.
I feel like if you're that capable, you've easily got the money to buy the games. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing.
I don't get it.
There must be, I mean, piracy exists, right? So there must be some other benefit to it that people want to do. Or sometimes people want to do it just because they can.
There are definitely those guys out there. Some people do it because they just don't believe in, like, IP.
Yeah. And also, that isn't also the only reason to hack a PS5. If you could get the PS5 emulation software going, then you never need to buy a PS5. You can just chuck it on a PC, everyone gets a PC, and then that's it, and whatnot, everyone who has a PC. So there's reasons. That's one theory, and that's the most compelling one to me. Or maybe they just couldn't work it out in time for launch, and it's going to come out afterwards.
It could be.
Go on.
That.
Crazy theory. Let me go with my conspiracy hat on.
Not so crazy. There's this quote that I love, which goes along the lines of, never underestimate the stupidity of people in large groups. Something like that, right? It could just be that they want to last out the warranty because the number of people that are going to break their PlayStations trying to increase the storage, and I'm not even joking, will be so high that they want it to come out 2 years down the road where they can be like, no, I'm sorry, this was your thing, you broke it. We only, our work's guaranteed for 12 months,
That's funny.
It could genuinely be that.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine they're like, okay, fuck man, if we do it in the first year, we're going to have a ton of people bring back their consoles because we said they could increase their internal storage. And I don't want to deal with that. Delay it a year.
I bet it's even dumber things than you. So I don't even necessarily think it's people like ruining their motherboards or whatever it is, right? I think it's going to be, they know that the number of people that are going to break the plastic clips getting the siding off is going to be so high that it's just not worth it to, like, that plastic is somewhat expensive, but then the shipping is double the price because the plastic's cheap. Like, that's gonna, so they're just like, no, software block it because the real hacker guys are going to get through any software problem. Like, these guys do it, like you said, just to do it. A lot of these people...
Only thing is they wouldn't... I mean, if as I said, there's a will, there's a way. If anyone wants to do something, they will do it. But at least this... Like, how do they access the software? If the ports don't work, they don't work. But I get what you mean. If someone wants to do it, they will do it.
I mean, the guys that are going that far are smart enough to figure out the motherboards and solder in extra wires so that it will go on a display, right? These guys really know what they're doing. They're the guys that would have built this stuff, right?
But hold on, your idea, so they're not going to go, but your idea is not security, but your idea is that they want to try and push people past the warranty period.
Yes, I think they're more worried about stupidity.
You're far too close to that. That's way more stupid than my idea of it.
You think so? You think so? But I think they know the number of people that will break the plastic clips, or that will like over tighten the screw and crack the board.
Yeah,
or,
it's possible.
Or will have been on their carpet and static shock a chip.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Right, is enough that it's just not worth it. And they will say, you said I could expand this thing. It's 2 months old and not working anymore. Yeah. That number of people is so high that they will say, software block it until we're past the warranty. Now it's 2 years old. Allow them to do it. And because, again, at that point, the guys coming in knew 800 gigabytes is enough. If someone buys one, let's say the day the warranty runs out, right, for the first sold units, the new one, people are probably not going to want to do it straight away. Most people don't want to upgrade it straight away.
I'm the idiot that I want to do that.
You're that guy.
And I was looking forward to it.
You also don't delete stuff. It's very rare you delete games.
Yeah, I just don't.
We saw a demo on there the other day.
Yeah, I had a fucking demo and I had the game next to it. It was an Iron Man VR. I had the
it.
demo and I had the game next to it. Why do I still have the demo?
Exactly. So, also, look, with the idea of the speeds that we're going to get, because that's the thing that I think you're not really... You're stuck on, I want to do this thing, because we both do like taking stuff apart and putting it back together and upgrading stuff, or like until you got your newer car and had all this care, like we would do all our servicing and stuff, we'd do stuff to our cars. One, because it's cheaper, but two, it's kind of fun to do it yourself and be like, I can do this. But how quick that memory is going to be, and bearing in mind there's no copying anymore, that you may not even need to upgrade from 800. Even you might not need to for the first year or two.
I think that's the thing that we need to discuss here. Yeah. So, is this going to be a problem for most people? Do you feel like it's a problem for yourself? Do you feel like it's a problem for the masses? The usable storage from the 825, by the way, is like 664 or something like that. Games are getting smaller. A couple of games have come out and they're like 40 gigabytes and stuff like that. There's only the one mother trucking outlier, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, 135 gigabytes, and then there's a 35 gigabyte day one patch. Oof. Oh my god, Call of Duty, you need to work on that.
What's AC Valhalla?
AC Valhalla's not even that much. I think I looked at... Let me have a look.
You got to flip the back of the case.
This is PS4 though. I mean, it's saying on here 50 gigabyte minimum on PS4.
That's not bad.
I'm imagining it's not going to be too much more for the thing. But I've seen a couple of other games and they're around about that mark. Yeah. And it's only going to get better with time because, like we said, it's been less copying and less multiple copies of the speed and stuff like that.
The speeds will get better. So one thing about the size of games, they're like coming down because developers can do more with less.
Yeah.
But we're also asking them to do more, so like the ray tracing and stuff. So they've come down, but they'll go back up with the extra textures and
higher quality textures. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But do you think this is going to be a problem? Because Diogo did have a problem with this. He was saying that this is kind of out of order at launch, and as well as that, they're also not allowing you to use external SSDs for PS5 games. Okay. For external storage, if you want to plug it in, you can use PS4 games on them, but not PS5 games. Apparently, how do you feel about that?
I actually get it. Because I think, especially PS5 games, I think they're going to say, their argument's going to be, it's intended to use our SSD. And if it isn't, it is not going to run the way the developers intend it to run.
But do you think it's fair? Fair on the people who are buying the console?
I don't think it's unfair. Which is different to thinking that it is totally okay.
Yeah.
I think... It's like we said with Cyberpunk. We're of the opinion Cyberpunk should be PC and next gen only. That's it, and not because it's got problems on the current gen. Even if there were no delays, but we actually think it should be next gen only. It should run at its best possible settings. Is that fair?
Some people would say no, but is it fair then to shackle the people that are on the next gen consoles?
So we would argue that it's not unfair. Not that it is fair, but it's not unfair.
Yeah.
And in that same way, I think Sony, especially at least early on, saying like, look, use the PlayStation the way it's meant to be, and then a year or two in, you want to change it, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But see how it's supposed to be, especially with using external hard drives. Especially like, look, USBs are getting really fast, but they're not as fast as this SSD.
Yeah.
Right. And if they're my analogy of like the one motorway versus the multi-lane, like that's the way the game's intended to run. It's gonna run slower, and then what you're gonna forget is that you're running it off this SSD and complain that your PlayStation's slow. PlayStation's not slow. You're using slower memory.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I feel it. I feel it. I know that you wanted to upgrade to like 5 terabytes. I'm sorry,
5 terabytes of internal SSD,
so that you could get everything on there and play the same 2 games.
Yeah,
right. I just think it's not going to be an issue for the first year. Now, bearing in mind, I'm the guy that's still running on his base 500 gigabytes. That is tough, especially with the copying and stuff. But with how quick it will be, I think, and with stuff storing in your library, just being like, okay, cool. Get rid of Ghosts for now. I'm going to play Call of Duty with my boys. oh, we're not playing until next weekend, delete, goes back on. Oh, we're playing tomorrow, put code back in. I think it's going to be much quicker to the point where the juggle is not going to be anywhere near as bad as it used to be. That's my interpretation. What about you? Because it sounds like you don't agree. I know you're on the other side of it.
I'm in two minds about it. It's a feature, and especially it's a cool feature to be able to. It was one of the plus points against Xbox that you can just buy off the shelf parts.
Yeah.
No proprietary nonsense. Stick it in there, and it was fairly easy, even though it was more complicated than the Xbox's one, which was like a memory card essentially. And then you could just pop it in there, and you have more storage wherever you want to get it from. Go nuts, and you're great. I made my peace with the fact that it was probably going to be expensive. Storage because it needed to match. You were going to spend
money on new tech.
Can't believe it, right? It's unheard of.
Out of the blue, that
unheard of. I made my peace with it being expensive because it was going to be quick and convenient and match the system storage. But then at launch, it's like, okay, I have no option. To have no option is what kind of bugs me. And there's what bugging people like Diogo. For example, he also writes in here a couple of other things that are bugging him that are missing at launch. He goes, themes are not going to be a thing on PS5 because now when you hover over a game, it sort of themes the whole UI with it. And then when you go to another one, it themes it again.
So no background theme,
There's no folders, so you can't store different games in different folders. Not a huge thing, but
not a big deal to me, but I get it.
I do use a VR folder, and I put my VR games in there, which is some people like that as well. You can't store PS5 games on any external hard drive on like a USB or even if it's a USB-C, which is very fast.
Not saying I do, but
it could be. I mean, at least on the PS4, you could store PS4 games on a USB. So the fact that you can't do that, there's no web browser. Which he goes, I don't care about this one because I don't actually use it.
Would bug me actually because that's how I watch a lot of anime.
Okay.
Through like web links.
See, Catsper had a problem with it because he goes, well, where else am I going to watch porn? And I was like, then I sent him a video saying...
I'm sure there's got to be, right?
There isn't actually, no. Because it's supposed to be a family entertainment system, right? You can't have it. I was saying, you're still using a web browser to watch your porn? And then I sent him a VR video of me just going like this. Funny. Transferring saves, you can't transfer it to a USB. You can only use the cloud storage, which is a PS Plus kind of exclusive feature and whatnot. I get that. And now this internal SSD not working. It's just little things stopping you from being able to do basic tasks. Not tasks that are going to completely hinder your gaming experience, but just little things that are niggling at you. And I think all of them combined, it gets me, it's like... Why, Sony?
I'll tell you my biggest thing about it.
And then combine it with the light. Oh my god.
Are we confirmed on it being blue or white?
I haven't seen it, and I'm trying not to see it. I'm waiting for the day.
Yeah.
But god, I'm ready to burn that PS5.
I think for me, here's my big issue about memory.
Yeah.
Is that they tell you, it's American sales. You find something that's a tenner, take up the till, they scan it, then they add tax. And it's not a tenner. You have 10 on you, and it's like 11.60. No. Yeah. You said 10. That's like, show me the full amount. And it really bugs me. And they do it for everything in memory. 1 terabyte, but you can only use 800 because the OS is on there, right?
Yeah.
So the thing I would do, or would like to be able to do, is put that chip in and just put the OS on it.
Yeah.
And have the rest of that memory just for games or something. It really bugs me that the memory, including what's taken up that you can never use when you get it, is all told. You're like, it's 800. No, it's 660.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I can use. There's no, like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to tell me it's 800 when I can't use 800. I don't have 800 worth of... And that's not including the fact that you can never fill it all the way because to patch, you need space.
That's another thing. You need some buffer space and whatnot. And on the Xbox, if you're going to use that quick resume feature and whatnot, you need space to offload the games onto the SSD.
The full space of the game, yeah.
Exactly. So that's another thing. Yeah, this is a little bit troubling. I feel like this is going to be something that within 6 months is going to be solved.
Yeah, probably.
The themes have just changed. That's something you're going to get away. And I don't think that was a big deal personally, even though themes were nice on the PS4.
There are some cool themes. Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal, but that's gone forever. Folders, I could see that making a return. That's not a big thing to patch in and whatnot. Storing PS5 games on an external hard drive, I think that's down to how do you then tell a developer? It's like, okay, you need to program this game to work on the super fast SSD, but you also need to program it to also work on on an external mechanical hard drive because someone's too cheap and doesn't want to pay for a bigger thing. To say, how do you do that? And it takes away from the whole thing, which is next gen.
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At least you can still store PS4 games on there because that's how they used to run anyway, which is great. The web browser. Again, why do I need a feature that I have on my taxes machine over here? I don't need that, right? But some people, I guess, used it a lot. I don't know why. Transferring saves. The only thing that's sucky about that is that the cloud storage is a PS Plus exclusive.
Yeah.
You have to have PS Plus in order to have that feature, which is a bit sucky because then it's technically locked behind a very low paywall.
Yeah. 40 for the year.
40 for the year, which is something that you probably have anyway because you have a PS5. Yeah. It's not like you spend £500 on a console and then went, whoa, 40 for the year to play online.
And for the record, with the PS Plus collection, it's absolutely worth the money.
Exactly. You get your money in spades.
You got God of War 4 for 40 quid.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man.
But then out of all of that, the last straw, for me, the straw that broke the camel's back is just going to be the fact that I can't then upgrade the internal storage. Like, all of this other stuff will be fine if I could just do that feature that you said was going to be a thing. But what makes it all better is all the things that you said, where now everything's so quick, everything's so snappy. Yeah. Hopefully the PSN is going to be a bit faster so you can download a brand new game very quickly. Yeah. If you've got a new disc, you just pop it in there, install, bang, straight in there. Hopefully that solves all of that and it's not a big issue. Until 6 months down the line and then everything's patched and everything's good and then we're cool.
It's kind of funny because you said the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
But it's the straw that broke the camel's back and now I'm annoyed. Not the straw that broke the camel's back and I'm cancelling my pre-order and going to Xbox, right? And I will say, I think the people like you and Diogo who are rightfully annoyed that these features that you enjoy are gone, but like you don't care about the web feature, but I kind of do. I like to watch my anime on my TV and now I'll have to hook up my laptop, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's inconvenient. And no good reason for it. It's connected. It's directly connected to internet. It's its primary function to connect me and games.
Yeah.
I think there's a very small group of people that are minorly to moderately peeved.
Yeah.
But nowhere near enough to cause people to be like, I'm not getting one.
Yeah.
It sucks that you can't like go on Twitter or something. You know what I mean? And look, the storage, cool, but it might not be an issue. We think it's an issue because we're still looking at things with PS4s.
Yeah, when we get into it, it might be a different ball of wax.
It might be that you put in Demon Souls. I presume that'll be the first disc that goes in it. And within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because we don't know yet, it's up and running with no copying. And you're like, I actually maybe don't need 2 terabytes. If it's this quick, I will just take stuff off and put it back on. Yeah. Like if the option is put in the disc, delete the game, put in the disc, go make a cup of tea. By the time it's ready to drink, you're in the game. Do you mind that much? Because for some of these games, it's an all-day process on the PS4.
I think, especially because some games do install quite quickly on the PS4 already, I think it's going to be exponentially faster. I think it's not going to be an issue like you said. But as you said, until we get there, until we try it, until we have it in our hands, we feel like it's a bigger of an issue. It
feels like they've taken something away from you. Yeah, I get that.
We'll see how that turns out, Diogo. We can come back to this after the launch of the PS5 and have our own discussions about how we feel about things and see if it's a big issue.
It'll be an interesting one to like earmark for like the first two gamer in January when we've had it for a good while, like a good solid 2 months.
We'll have to do our own review episode of the PS5 a month after use, something like that, whatever it might be. Reviews, and then we'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, standard.
One feature that isn't there.
Okay.
So we spoke about this a while ago when we saw the quick resume feature on the Xbox Series X. Yeah. And we saw and we thought, we don't know how often this would be used.
Yes.
But nevertheless, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Being able to jump between roughly 5 to 6 games, you could just bang, 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 jump into another one, and it's a few seconds in between your bang straight into where you left off on the other game, and you're like, wow, that's
great. Not the last save point where you were.
You were, like you just suspended that game and popped another one. Yeah. Great feature. Didn't know how many times we'd use it, but there'll be some times where it's like, oh, I'm playing whatever story game. Oh, my mate wants to jump on an online game. Let's jump over there, then come back afterwards after an hour. Very convenient. And we was like, surely PS5 is going to have something like that. It turns out it's not. But we saw the last week how quickly it was to load up Spider-Man Miles Morales.
From a dead stop as well.
From a dead stop to nothing.
Yeah.
And there is a menu underneath which is like recently played or something like that. Yeah. So you've got your recently played games on there. If you hit that, it does take more than what the Xbox is, but maybe like 10 seconds longer. Is that a big deal?
Again, not to me. It's from how quickly that was from like, I think, did it start with the PlayStation had just turned on, was that right?
I think it was like a cold start it did, and it was on the main menu. He just checked, just proving that it was working. It's not like a fake video.
And it was like 20 seconds. And when I say 20 seconds, I mean 20 seconds from hitting the thing to through the menus and back into the game.
Into the game, he's on a rooftop.
I think that's easily fast enough. For me, I'm not too fussed about the restart, especially... I mean, I'm just not too fussed by having to wait less than half a minute to get straight into a game.
Yeah.
The quick resume's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But is it making that much of a difference? Like, we saw load times.
Yeah.
The load times are so significantly lower. I'm talking like comparisons to like PS4 to PS5 for these load times. Same with the Xbox One and Series X.
Yeah.
I don't think the from cold boot is going to make the difference. I think the fact that... Like, do you remember in that video, there wasn't time to see the load screen. It just, you were in. Like, I think it flashed for a second. It looked almost like it had loaded the wrong thing.
Yeah. And the splash screen came up and just disappeared afterwards.
Exactly. I think that is so much faster. That's the real deal breaker or maker. That's my impression.
I feel like it's not going to be a big thing. I feel like once we get to use it, and that feature is going to be so quick, games are going to load so quick on next gen that, like you said, it's not going to be an issue.
Lastly, on that,
go on,
and only just to do the Sony pony thing, which is, yes, the games will take 20 seconds longer to load in, but what games do you have to quick resume on the Xbox? And I don't mean that this isn't like an insult. This isn't like, oh, I got it right, you got it wrong. But like, honestly, there isn't a huge amount that you are dying to play on the Xbox, but there are a lot of games like that on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
The fact that I have to wait 18 seconds longer to get into Miles Morales, or Demon's Souls, or God of War 4, or whatever, I think is worth it.
I think so.
Seems that way to me anyway.
And of course, you still get the party piece of the Dualsense controller, which is going to be amazing. I'm telling you, everyone. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and for the record, I think you called that quite early on about how good the controller was. I was a bit. Meh.
I didn't realize how accurate it would be. Like I was like, this is going to be something cool. I feel like, and the 3D audio as well. That'd be cool. And it turns out that's the party piece.
Yeah.
Two more short topics.
Yeah.
Some deliveries of Xbox Series X's and PlayStations are getting delayed by good old places like GameStop and Amazon. So this is really shitty. Really shitty.
That
because
sucks.
Did you know when they're telling people? On the day of delivery.
Nah.
That's so scummy.
That's so bad.
People are getting emails from people like Amazon and GameStop and whatnot saying that they are expecting the shipment of Xbox Series X and PS5s and whatnot any day now. And they are guaranteeing that they will get their delivery on or before the 31st of December. Yes.
Nah.
That's really shitty. Some people have got little closer windows. I think it's the PS5 specifically have got shorter windows where, like I said with Tyler, where it's the 13th of November to the 18th of November.
Yeah.
So at least that's between the two release dates of some regions.
You know...
But how can a retailer send that email out? Don't worry, guys. It's coming before the 31st of December. And be like, that's cool. Send it all. Who says that?
One of the other things you could do is wait, buy another one.
Yeah.
Wait for them to deliver it. Let the delivery driver leave. Then just want a refund and just cost them the money for the delivery. Like, fuck them.
Could be a complete cunt right there.
But that's, especially from someone like Amazon. Like, you could argue that GameStop's really suffered from all this stuff. But Amazon has been doing great. Thriving in this, like, online thing because of the calamity. There is no reason that should be delayed from Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, none at all. Because they have the delivery drivers going out. They have the warehouse space. They have the stock. They have been going from strength to strength in this version of the world. There is no good reason that, unless they don't get the stock in. But why would they not? They're literally the biggest shipper of anything.
I was going to say, like, all the people that aren't going to get the stock Amazon's going to be the one to get the stuff.
Right.
The only for those of you guys out there that were wondering, because they spoke about this on the As Always podcast, they were like, because I helped Ethan get his PS5 and I helped you get your PS5.
did, yeah.
I essentially bought 3 pre-orders. Now you see why I bought 3 pre-orders, because any one of these guys could just turn around and go, "Sorry guys, you're not getting your PS5." And I would be absolutely livid, and I would not be able to do anything about it. So I covered my bases. I feel really for the guys that aren't getting them day one, even though they pre-ordered on the day, 5 minutes after the pre-orders went live.
Because they all went anyway, yeah.
And then they're turned around and being screwed by Amazon and GameStop right here. It's really terrible.
That is something that's worth getting annoyed over. Not being able to upgrade the storage, that's not going to be a problem, because by the time you get your Xbox or PlayStation, that problem will be solved.
Yeah, by the time you actually get it, it'll be solved.
That sucks. That sucks.
That really sucks. And the final thing is from our boy Phil Spencer, our good old Phil Spencer. Do you remember last time we spoke about how he was saying that Game Pass, sorry, the games for Bethesda don't need to come out on PS5 for them to make the money back?
Yeah, complete lie.
It was a complete lie. Well, he's back at it lying again. Phil Spencer says that he has played quite a bit of Elden Ring.
20 minutes, probably.
He goes, quite a bit of Elden Ring, and it's the most ambitious game that Miyazaki's ever made, he says. Yeah. He's lying because Elden Ring doesn't exist. A lot of people who are on the internet have like commented on this and whatnot. We've only seen barely a trailer, and all it was an arrow flying through the air.
Yes, yeah.
And he's played quite a bit of Elden Ring.
I mean, I assume this was said in an interview.
In an interview, yes.
My follow-up question will be, when you say quite a bit, how many days of in-game play time? Like, how many days in the game? Because quite a bit isn't 5 hours.
Yeah.
Quite a bit is, for a guy like this, 2 days.
Yeah.
Quite a bit for you and me. I mean, we remember, for the record, used to be a WoW guy.
Yeah.
My main character, before I quit, and this was many years ago, had 178 days. And that was my... And I had other characters...
You had no life.
I had other characters with 40 days on them,
Jesus Christ, no life right here.
That is a lot of time.
Yeah.
In-game, I mean, every COD we probably used to put 4 or 5... I think Black Ops 1 we had like 10 days of in-game playtime, right? Like, first of all, what is a lot of playtime? And second of all, how are you managing that on a game that doesn't exist?
I was going to say, I don't give a shit how he could come out with like, I've played 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour.
400 hours of AC Odyssey.
It's all a lie. This game doesn't exist yet.
No.
This game is still in concept stages. This game is still... They're still designing flaws to the world and whatnot. This game doesn't exist. Why is he lying to us?
Because the thing is, if there was like even a playable level...
Yeah.
We probably would have seen it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the thing.
That's what they did with God of War 4. They had that one level, that intro level.
Because
it was ready, they showed us.
This is a game now that they own. Because they could release it on PS5, they don't know. But with everybody, all of the reviews that we read before, everyone clamoring saying Xbox doesn't have a game to really showcase the next gen. If you've played a significant amount of it, you would make a gameplay trailer of it and pump it out there and be like, "This is coming to Xbox soon, guys."
Because this could be the Xbox.
It doesn't exist.
This could be the Xbox only Elder Scrolls.
It could be.
If it's that good. Plus, obviously, the marketing, the name is intended to get you to confuse it with Elder Scrolls. Like Elden Ring, it's close enough.
And you wouldn't even if it didn't have to come on exclusively on Xbox, you don't have to mention the platform. You just need to show this, put an Xbox logo at the end, and guys, buy the new console because this is going to be coming one day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exist. That's why you haven't done that.
It's not there. It's not there. I just... Why?
Such a lie.
The thing that I don't understand is, what's the benefit of these lies? What's the benefit of saying stuff? Like, there is no benefit to saying... we would make our money back on Bethesda even if we never sold anything to PlayStation. The answer to that question, if someone asks, is you say, well, we don't intend to... That's a silly question.
Yeah.
We make games for gamers. So, and you didn't even answer the question. And you could keep some stuff exclusive. You didn't answer the question. You gave a vague, look, we make games.
Yeah.
Why would I purposely exclude anyone? We make games. The point is to make good games. You answered the question. If you have this game... and it's incredible, why aren't you showing it especially this close.
The proof is in the pudding.
Especially like games are out.
Yeah.
Like the consoles are out. Show it and be like, guys, if you haven't made up your mind, look at this. Play it first on Xbox Live or wherever the fuck the ads are now.
Especially because the opposite side of the spectrum, your competition, they are completely silent on everything, and all they're doing is letting the game speak for themselves.
Yeah.
There's tons of fucking videos out there of everything Spider-Man Miles Morales. There's tons of Demon Souls out there. There's tons of Bug Snacks, even though I'm not. I just look at it and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Bug Snacks not for me, but I bet it's doing really well.
I see it.
Has it got Metacritic scores?
It has, and it's doing well. It's doing well on there. I see more of Godfall than I've seen of any of your games, and Godfall is tanking.
That's a solid point, because Godfall was one where we were like, oh, Godfall, Elden Ring, those two seem like they're like similar stuff competitors.
Fantasy.
Yeah. How is Godfall ready, but Elden Ring isn't? But you have significant time. Also, I don't believe Phil Spencer has significant time.
Yeah, the guy's got to be busy.
We don't, and we're not like CEOs of stuff.
Exactly, we're CEO of Conversations, but
well, the most important gaming journalist business. We're trusted journalists.
Exactly.
But I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Anyway, guys, let's kick it over to some of our boys who've written in. We have a couple of guys. Yep. I did have my... I had Patreon written up somewhere here, but now it's disappeared. And I've spelled Patreon wrong, so that's...
Patro.
Patreon.
Vote for Patro.
Vote for Patro, everyone. Highly recommend it. He's a great guy. Let's kick it over to some of our guys. Yep. We'll kick it over to the guys over on our Patreon. You guys, if you're a member of our Patreon group, you can write in as well on all of our posts. Check out.
That's right.
We have two questions here. One from Real Cinema.
Okay.
He says, let me put on my glasses so I don't really...
What's Hunter got to say?
He says, hey gamers, my question is, do you think Sony and Microsoft should have been able to have plenty of consoles at launch since March to deal with COVID-19 limitations? For example, I work in a car factory and COVID has not slowed down us one bit this year. Hopefully, by the time you see this, I'll have a PS5 and I'll be playing some real cinema. So some people haven't been able to secure themselves a PS5.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually. Even though they didn't say there was any sort of limitations in production and whatnot. But clearly there have been.
Yeah, there definitely have been. I'll say this for one thing, which is that all of this tech is at least assembled in China.
Yeah.
And China was where this thing kicked off and suffered quite majorly from it. So that is one major issue.
Yeah.
I would say. Also, cars, as much as being a luxury for a lot of people, Hunter's in America, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah. At least America is all about cars.
Yeah.
In most places, there are like a few cities where you can get by without having a car, but mostly you have to drive. So, and even here, for a lot of people, a car is a necessity, not just a luxury. Now, how fancy the car is, that can be a luxury, but cars could be considered, in a lot of cases, certainly in America, necessities. Yeah. So, I feel like they're not...
gaming console,
like
car.
A PS5 is definitely a luxury. Yeah. You will not die without one.
I think the only thing that that is a completely valid point and actually really important. That's something you should think about.
Something to consider at least, yeah.
The only thing that is similar between them is that both of them must have the same mindset. So the people who are making the car, they're like, we need to make these cars because this is our bread and butter. We make cars to make money. Sony and Microsoft are thinking the same thing. We need to make these consoles, so we're going to put everything we can behind them.
Yeah.
And they are smaller on scale, so maybe they should have been able to. There was also a rumor as well that the parts, the type of memory and stuff like that was unavailable. There was a shortage of it, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel with Hunter here that like.
There's one other thing though.
Go on.
Purchasing. So for a PlayStation, you have to buy it outright. Yeah. Now, obviously, it's a smaller thing, but for a car, you can finance it.
Tons of options.
You could do like, there's plenty of options of like 0% interest for the first 2 years, but it's a 5-year contract. You know, there's lots of it. Same with like phones.
Yeah.
Like no one blanches at the fact that a phone's £1,000, right? Because of the financing option, because you always get it on a contract. But £500 for a console seems like a lot. It's because you have to fork out $500 on the day.
Yeah.
So I think, and I know car is a significantly bigger purchase, but when it gets brought down to $79.99 a month, you know, suddenly it doesn't seem so huge.
I think with this, I feel for the guys who couldn't get a console. I really feel for them. It really sucks, especially because I mean, we're peed off with the fact that we have to wait 1 week.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like, where it's like, I have the money. I would get it if I could.
Yeah.
But I can't. Imagine that feeling.
They should have at least made double. Minimum double. Although, have Xbox been having the same stock problems? They have.
They have been having stock problems, but we don't know what numbers they've made. PlayStation came out and they said within the first financial quarter, they've ordered 10 million units or whatever it might be.
Is that they had 10 million ready? Or they've ordered. They've ordered an additional 10 million.
They've ordered 10 million within the first financial quarter.
To roll out in
exactly.
that quarter.
So in that first quarter, they will have, as long as nothing changes, they're going to have 10 million units for people to buy. Whether that's available all in January as well, that's another thing and whatnot. We haven't had any numbers on the Xbox side, but Xbox, ever since the Xbox One, they've kept quiet about their numbers of everything. So
presumably quite a lot lower.
Quite a lot lower, because they're like, oh, well, our demand is a bit lower, so let's...
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's the issue there. I really do feel for the people who haven't got one. I don't think it's not comparable exactly.
Yeah, it's apples to oranges.
And as you said as well, China, fucking the epicenter for this calamity.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really tough. It's really crappy, but I think a lot of the stuff is out of their hands. As well, another thing as well as the release date, because they wanted a global release date in the beginning, and why wouldn't they do a global release date? Why would they wait just 1 week? It turns out that in an interview I had a look at why they did it. They said that physically the boxes are bigger. In order to ship that much of these boxes is going to take time. And they're like, we had to get it to our first...
the short straw.
That's the thing. They were like, we have to get it to our first market, America. We have to get it to the place that's closest, Japan. We have to get it to places closest, China and stuff like that. We just drew the short straw. Like
because Europe with 500 million people is like a minor... Anyway.
Our next question is from our boy Albyscorey, the Master Chief himself. He says, hello bros! Eddie, how large will the blast radius be when you explode after watching your PS5's LED turn white? Just hoping to be in the safe zone. Cheers, Scory. Are you in England? Are you in Europe? Are you on the planet Earth? Well, then you're not safe.
Because, and this is the thing that you're not taking into account here, Albie, is that it's going to be like Chernobyl.
Yes.
It's the salt wave is going to stick around and bury itself into the land for decades to come. There'll be hundreds of years later, nothing will grow in this spot.
This area will just be like, well, it's
perfectly
wasteland.
Preserved, like petrified trees and like this one DS5 just slowly like rotting on the side, like little bits like crumbling away. You know in Spider-Man where that dude becomes Sandy, and it looks like a rock slide, but then you pull out. You actually really zoomed in. It'll be like that.
Oh, that's exactly what it would be.
Bits of this house just crumbling away. Thousands of years later, the aliens arrive and they're like, "What happened to this one spot?"
Strange. It's not like everything else.
This was a nuclear society, but we don't know what this is.
There'll have to be one history book on the other side of the planet that survived.
This one section, like Death Stranding planet.
There were rumours of a man who exploded with rage. It's just
it literally is Death Stranding. Yeah.
By the way, I put out a funny tweet.
Rage quit existence.
I thought it was funny, obviously, because I made it.
Yes.
Saying that, I was like, how much would it take, PlayStation, for Norman Regis to deliver my PlayStation 5 to me in full Bridges outfit?
That's pretty funny, yeah.
Because that's the only person I would trust to deliver my outfit.
And on time, yeah.
Yes. Just him with a baby and like,
that's pretty funny.
And I said to him, I was like, we're in the calamity area, so age, so we can do the whole no contact delivery in the game.
That's cool.
Anyway. Cool. Let's kick it over to our boys in the Discord server, our loyal bros over there. Who says it first? Who says it first?
Who we got?
Who dude says most feature in the next gen that you're looking forward to. What's yours become now?
I mean, the load times is going to be insane. I think that's. I don't think that's really a feature though. It's just like a function.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the times going forward.
I think the UI stuff that we saw with like next achievements or how long to go through this level, that stuff.
I think they call them cards that pop up.
That's right, the cards, the UI cards. I think those will be surprisingly useful. I think it will just be a thing that you use all the time without even really realizing it. Like a month in, you'll just be using it all the time and not even think about it, I suspect. And if it weren't that, I think you and I might find ourselves doing the picture-in-picture thing fairly often. Like cool. If we're doing the raid and you have to be in 2 separate areas to do stuff, like on Ghost Legends.
You can see what you're doing, you can see what I'm doing.
Right. Like you need to get this thing and like, oh, okay, how's the puzzle going? Instead of asking you, they can just see, oh, the puzzle's like halfway done, but I'm only a quarter way done. Yeah. No, before you do the last thing and set off this next wave, let me do this thing, that sort of deal. So I think those are the thing that, for me, that's going to be used a lot. And I bet you use the card one because you do achievement hunting a bit. That's
something that I'm really looking forward to. So you guys all know that I'm like a big trophy whore. I'm really big into my trophies, and I've upped it even more when it came to the PS4, and I'm going to go even further on the PS5. The fact that they've added so many little things for PlayStation 5 users, being able to track how much time you've played in something. If you've got a trophy that requires, say, 15 headshots of something, it tells you you've got 12 of the 15, whereas before it was just, you don't know where the hell you are. 15. It was like, have I done it? Have I not? How close am I? How far am I? All of those individual track things that are so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so much love. I was shocked to know that on the PS4, you could choose when the screenshot was taken. Because every time you pop a trophy, you get an automatic screenshot saved onto your PS4. Not many people know that, but I know it because I'm a stupid trophy whore. But I was shocked to find out that the developers could program when that screenshot is taken.
Okay.
And in Days Gone, the guys meticulously went in to pick the perfect one. And I always wondered, because I look at them afterwards, I was like, Days Gone's always in a beautiful setting. I could share all of these. And I had a look online. It turns out the guys meticulously went in and did it. Imagine how much better now that's going to get on PS5 where they get to pick the frame. They get to, you can track it so accurately. They've also changed another feature. It will record like a 20-second clip of when you got the trophy.
Okay. So like when you finally kill like the Rat King and you get like Rat King on Grounded or whatever.
Yes, that. I can't wait to have that. As well as that, I'm looking forward to the 3D audio. We've mentioned the Dualsense control, which is going to be a great thing. The 3D audio, I think, is going to be amazing, especially in horror games. I'm going to get Resident Evil, even though I'm a little bitch.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea.
I'm going to get it, and I'm going to play that game, and I'm going to have the DualSense controller. I'm going to have the 3D audio that's going to kill me. I'll have a heart attack on stream, but I'll die happy.
I think we are, especially with the DualSense and the haptic and the 3D audio. And I don't want to oversell it because I'm not trying to sell you on it, but I think the depth of immersion is going to be so much greater. It'll be a next-gen leap, basically, and again, not to constantly beef out Xbox, but I don't think Xbox has that, and I feel like the PlayStation will have not only some really good exclusives, but the immersion you get from a third-party title, assuming it has compatibility, is going to be so much greater that you would, let's say you had both, you would probably find yourself playing it on the PlayStation, is my guess. And I think it's going to be huge.
I think it's going to be a big leap. I really do hope that these third-party guys pick it up, because it could be something that really sets apart games.
Yeah.
And what would be really interesting when it comes to reviews, because if there are games that, if say it really becomes adopted and it's really endorsed and everyone does it, then it's going to be a question of, we did the review. Oh, what system are you playing it on? You're playing it on an Xbox. Okay, so you didn't get the full experience.
Yeah.
Are you playing it on the PS5? Oh, you did get the full experience. Or having a look at the 2 review scores, and it's like, I understand why that's 10 points lower than this one over here. That would be very, very interesting to see.
Or an article that was like, prior to, I'd only played this on the Xbox, but for this review, I wanted the full experience, so we used the company PS5 or something. Like, I suspect we will see stuff like that,
that's all based on whether or not the third-party developers support it, and if they do, then we probably will see a lot of that. And
I hope so.
That's quite smart. That's quite smart on Sony's part. We do have a couple of other questions, but it's not.
We've been going for a fair bit as well, so I don't know if.
Well, a lot of them are questions that we probably wouldn't be able to answer anyway, or stuff that we've already answered. Some people were talking about there was a PS5 reported as well that was 100% dead. A guy saying he turned it on. It said he was having storage rebuild issues, but it escalated to full errors, and now it won't turn on at all. He's talking with Sony and troubleshooting when it just died. So that's something. First issue I've heard of that, but again, that could be an issue.
Lemons happen. One in 10 million.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is more common. That will definitely be an issue.
Yeah.
And I did say that memory being brand new is likely to be, if there are reliability issues, I would expect it here.
It could happen because it's all brand new. And then Dan wrote in about the Xbox Series X having problems with smoke and whatnot. And then he went, edit, never mind, it's just vapor smoke because people have been doing that.
I don't know why you would do that to your brand new Xbox.
That's the thing. When I first...
blowing vapor air in, like, it's vape. You know, rust is a thing, right?
Right.
And corrosion, even if there's no steel in it. Anyway, it's stupid, but
There's a couple of things wrong with that, because I was like, okay, who's the guy that's doing it CG, that's too much effort, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And also, to slander the new console that you bought, clearly you're a fan of. How does that work? And then I saw people blowing smoke into it. Again, why would you do that?
I don't understand it.
What is vapor? Why would you do that?
Like... Also, why would you take a video with that level of cable management?
I know, the cable management is awful in that.
I hate that more than the Xbox burning up. Also, if I saw that level of smoke coming out of any device, I would not be like, hey, our videos, the plug's coming out, I'm getting a fire extinguisher. Right? Like, I'm not... Yeah.
Are you going to explode at any moment?
It's next to all your electronics, it's next to your walls, your outlets, and your TV that realistically, most TVs are into the hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Anyway,
that's more smoke than should come out of a fire.
Yeah. That's...
Anyway, those were just a couple of questions, and Juice did ask as well, what game would you like to see remade for the next gen? I'm honestly completely over remakes.
Okay.
I think I would go rather into making brand new games, especially because we're getting what looks like great games like the Spider-Man Miles Morales. Yeah. We're really excited. I'm really excited for Horizon Forbidden West. God of War, the next one. I hope that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm more looking forward to those. And even though I've bought Demon Souls over here, and I'm excited to play this, and it's a remake.
Yeah.
I'm more excited to play it because it's going to be hard and it's going to be fun and difficult and stuff like that.
You love it to be hard.
Rather than me going, oh, yeah, I do love it to be hard. It does.
I'm glad you caught that.
Just might go there. But I'm more excited for the other games that are coming out. Like, while I want to play this, I'm more excited for Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out.
Final Fantasy 9.
Oh yeah.
Would probably be my number one. Especially because we're getting Mass Effect, the trilogy. Yeah. I can't think of. I mean, maybe Black Ops 1. But again, I'm kind of with you. Like, let's make some new stuff.
Let's go forward.
Yeah,
let's go forward.
Let's make new stuff and not worry about like remaking old games that were really good, or even remastering. Remastering is cool. Don't get me wrong. I do like it, but I would rather see developers spend their time on a brand new thing. Like, I don't think we need Uncharted 1 remade. I think we need Uncharted 5 as an example, right? And I get that you run out of time with characters. Like, Nathan Drake has been aging throughout his games. And is it likely that he'll be doing Indiana Jones stuff when he's 70 or whatever? No, fine. But let's remake something. Let's put all that money and time and effort and funnel it to Amy Hennig so she can make our Star Wars game that we want. You know,
that's what we want, really. That's what we want, really. I'm really upset about that.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry as frick. I have one question before we end, because I think we've come to a natural ending point.
That's the end of it.
You have played some Valhalla, correct?
That was actually something I wanted to bring up. Yeah, this episode's been a bit hectic because we've been sad about the PS5.
We have been. Yeah.
It will be back to regular scheduled programming after we get our PS5.
Yes, it will.
And we've calmed down and released our bodily fluids.
You will watch us dehydrate on the stream with the PlayStation 5. What would be terrible is if we boot it up and you have these issues, or yours works fine and I have issues.
You've gone and said it out loud now.
Oh,
you've gone and said it out loud.
You've said so much out loud.
I never say anything out loud.
Although we'll be able to put it straight on stream. PS5 breaks live on stream. Yeah.
Sony are awful. I have played AC Valhalla. Yes.
How are you finding it? How are you finding because you're, for example, poster behind us, Jedi Fallen Order. Yours ran very smoothly.
Did.
Mine did the other thing.
It did the other thing where everything was broken. Yes.
It did. Everything was broken. And I appreciate that people were having different experiences on the same game. How was your experience been?
So my experience has not been amazing.
Okay.
Story-wise, things are going good.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk spoilers, but I've got to a good area and I'm interested now.
Okay.
However, the way it's running is not great. Now, I put a tweet out pretty much like 3 hours after playing it. I was like, is anyone seeing like some real jank in this thing? Being playful and funny. Because I thought maybe it will clear up. But people are like, no, I'm cool, I'm great. I had 2 people come back to me going, yeah, actually, do you know what? I'm getting some weird issues. I'm having issues where I walk into a room and then I teleport across the room.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I'm getting issues where I've got missing
Jedi
textures,
Fallen Order
basically
experience,
missing textures.
Yeah.
I'm getting issues where I'm jumping up on like ledges and whatnot, and then I skip and fall off for some reason. I'm doing some animations where I'm fighting in combat, and I think it's because she's in the middle of an animation that and then I get hit by someone that he stumbles, and I'm like, what is going on? It's very kind of janky. And during cutscenes, I'm getting a lot of stuttering.
Oh, really?
It's really taking me out of it, I have to say. I don't know if that's maybe they tried to make it work on a current gen when really this was meant to be a next gen game.
Almost certainly
Probably.
an issue, yeah.
I bet you as soon as I get the PS5 update, all going to be gone out the window. But I'm getting a lot of jank.
Genuine question, because I was having those exact same issues, and then we cleaned out my PS4, and then it ran The Last of Us 2 flawlessly. Have you cleaned the thing out recently?
My PS5, for those of you guys who don't know, is the 500 million limited edition one. While I shouldn't, if I was really a collector, I wouldn't have used it. I would have left it in its box. I don't want to open it up.
I understand.
Because it's going to be a limited edition thing. Now, it's probably lost a ton of its value anyway, and I'm not planning to sell it. I just want to keep it for myself. But I feel like opening it up makes a difference as well.
Sure.
So I'm not going to touch it. And we've come to the end of the console life. So I'm going to put this away soon. It's going to be in a box forever.
I will say I was having issues exactly like that, where it would stutter in cutscenes and stuff, and it was just overheating because of all the dust. We took it out, and then it ran The Last of Us 2, which, love it or hate it, demanding game, right? And incredibly well optimized, but graphically incredible.
I was going to say,
smooth.
Last of Us Part 2 looks gorgeous.
Incredible.
And that's so last gen.
It was so smooth. Crazy. So I mean, maybe consider that and come back to it. The other thing I was going to ask, it's probably more obvious because it's intended to be in the game, is that one of the issues with AC and having problems is that intended in the game are glitches, right? So whether or not that was something that you were,
these were all actually part of the animus.
Right? Like, it's very obvious when I was playing Fallen Order that it was not I was not intended to fall through the earth, or to have no textures, or for my enemies to T-pose in constant red so I could never block.
You're not meant to see anything. You're meant to use the force, okay?
Right.
God,
exactly.
do you not know this?
Exactly. So, that was going to be one of my questions, but it's quite obvious. It tells you to go to an area, and then you see like a large tree glitching, and you walk up to it and it says "Explore glitch," right?
Yeah.
So,
there was a lot of jank in it. So far, as I said, the story and everything like to do with the characters are done well.
Good.
One thing I will say, animations, not great. You can tell that they're not mocapped. And,
right.
And we've gone from having so many PlayStation exclusives that are mocapped and seeing the quality that brings, and seeing hand animations and everything being so static and going, yes, cheers, and it's like, that guy's not saying cheers. That's some robot going like this and whatnot. And apparently they reused a lot of the animations from Odyssey.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
It sucks that they didn't put as... Do you know what it feels like to me? There's Darby McDevitt on the side, which is the guy that everyone's saying is like bringing the story and whatnot. It feels like he's putting 1,000% effort into it, and then it's being put onto a crummy car. It's like an amazing mechanic giving everything he can to a Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah, it's like, what are we going on? I hope the story is enough to carry it, and I mean, we've also got the planets. The planets are really amazing and whatnot.
Mars and Venus and stuff.
They've got rid of all that nonsense blades nonsense. Who needs a hidden blade?
No one wants it.
I didn't want that shit.
And if you have it, it's got to be like a 2 or 3 hit kill.
Yeah, exactly. None of this one it's overpowered. Overpowered. Can't do that. I will say at the beginning, I was full on AC mode. I was like, I'm an assassin, you're not an assassin at the beginning. So I'm in the grass, and I go up behind someone. I'm like, I press square. Nothing's happening because I don't have any sort of assassination abilities.
You're a Viking.
I'm a Viking, and I pull out a huge axe, and I'm like, oof.
I mean, it's still dead.
It's still
axe
dead.
To the head does do it.
I alerted everyone in the area as opposed to quick stab or whatnot. But that was a me thing. That was like, okay, we're not an assassin yet. But that's how I feel so far.
Did you pick male or female Ivar, just out of curiosity?
I let the Animus choose because the way that they pitched it, and also the way Darby's apparently talking about it, that's the canon choice. You're supposed to but I think that's a cover for random. I think that's what it is.
Is it a cover for random? Also, because this wasn't super clear to me, was that the wording on it when we first saw that, let the Animus choose, was that it syncs you up with the memories that are best. So I wasn't sure if you would start playing as male Ivar, come back out of the Animus, do stuff now, and then go back in, and then you're in the female Ivar, or if it just says, okay, at the beginning, flip a coin, you're male, flip a coin, you're female.
I think that's what it is at the base of it, but they've come up with a compelling story to make it feel like it isn't. They come up with it, again, no spoilers, but they come up with a reason. They're like, the memories, and I'm like, oh, okay, is that real?
Are you sure not time traveling assassin?
Oh, for those of you guys who don't get that joke, Amazon Prime lists the Assassin's Creed movie as a time-traveling assassin. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, this isn't Looper.
Yeah, this isn't, no. Gordon Joseph Levitt? What?
So is your Ivar male or female?
It's female.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did two things though. I played twice. Okay. I've done a video of my first initial playthrough. Okay. I recorded myself at least.
Sick.
Hopefully it turns out to be funny. I want to put that out there. Yeah. But as my first playthrough, and then I just went, all right, that's a dead game. I played it, started again, and when it came out, it was female.
I'd be interested to know, one, if it actually is random, like it just flips a coin in, or if it just puts you in as female. Yeah. Because if there is a canon choice. And then two, the thing I want to know is, does it actually change anything? I suspect it doesn't. I suspect it's just the character model.
From what I've seen as well, the way that they talk, they try to get away from her, him, and his, and hers. And they try to get away from all of that.
They're always talking about, Ivar is over there. Or,
yes.
Or where are they?
Even at the beginning, but you play, before you get to choose whatever character you want to be, you play as a young Ivar. Right. And the young Ivar is very close
ambiguous.
To both. It's like, is that a boy? Is that a girl?
Yeah, Ivar's just wearing really ambiguous clothes and has hair that is probably long for a male or short for a female.
And some facial features. You're like, that's either a girl that's just a bit young and not found her, or maybe it's a guy. I don't know. So they've done it very carefully. They've done it very carefully there.
So yeah, I guess that'll be interesting to see. I would like to see people do it as like male and female and see if there really is any difference. A good game there should be.
Should be, yeah.
I think there should be.
It means something to the characters then.
It does. I mean, if you think about like The Witcher, right? You play similar stuff. So you do go through a Ciri and then you go and meet a lot of those same people as Geralt. And they treat you differently.
Yeah.
I mean, not hugely, because Ciri's also a badass with a sword who can frickin' kill you.
Yeah, you want to be careful around that.
But they talk differently to people because she's a young, pretty girl and he is this big, old, grey mutant that people frickin' hate.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so you should be spoken to differently. I'd like to see stuff like that. Don't expect it from a peasant game, though.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we'll get to find out. Maybe like in a month's time, maybe we get like one of the 4 pillars on. We get to see what their experiences were versus mine, and then we can talk a little bit about
the last thing about Valhalla.
Yeah.
Do you intend ever at all to chuck it into your PS5? Or will you just be on Miles Morales? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it will probably do a lot better on the PS5. It will do a lot better on the PS5. Are you going to do it?
This is the crummy thing, because I wanted to play as much as I could before the PS5 came out, because then I could play some proper next-gen games over there.
Makes sense.
But the way it's running, I feel like I'm not getting a good experience out of it, and I want to play it on with a good experience. It's really crummy, and I think I am going to do it because there is the free PS5 upgrade, but I don't know how much I'll play.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Fair
enough.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play Miles Morales, which is I'll be able to knock out like in the first week. Surely.
Yeah, it's a short game. Yeah.
And then I'll play Demon's Souls on stream, and I'll play that as the game I play in between.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless we're playing Ghost Legends or something.
Could do as well. That's going to get a next gen update as well. 60 FPS.
Yeah, that's going to be sweet.
It's going to be great. And obviously, I'm going to want to play God of War again with the haptic feedback.
You got
and stuff.
How can you not? Like you said, the Leviathan axe, the Chaos Blades, the shield,
60 FPS
those
as well.
finishing moves. Like, I wonder if you'll be able to feel Kratos like snapping Sank's neck in cutscenes.
Yes.
You know, like you got to.
Also, those moves, the Chaos Blades. There was this one move, I don't remember what it was. It was like it's set on fire. You throw one over there, hook into the ground, one over there, and then you like pull it up like that. Yeah. Imagine that, feeling that through the controller.
It's gonna be sick. Oh god, it's gonna be sick. Alright, man, I think that's a good place to end this podcast.
I think it is, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of the True Gamer podcast. Right. It's been another good one. Thank you for staying with us and supporting us during this troubling time of no PS5 for us.
That's right.
We'll see you guys the next time we normally record it on a Thursday.
Yes.
That'll be the release day of the PS5.
Yeah.
So things are going to be a bit out of whack, but there will be streams to compensate.
Yeah.
There'll be other videos going up to compensate, and also you're probably all going to be playing on your PS5 anyway.
Yes, yeah.
So you won't miss a lot of content.
But you won't be watching us on a web browser using YouTube because it doesn't have that.
It doesn't have it. So there you go. But anyway, guys, tune into the Discord server to find out the most updated information about what's going on.
Yeah, and just to hang out.
Exactly, to hang out as well. Head over to Patreon as well if you want to support us at any of the tiers. It really helps us out. And you also
part of the Combro Nation.
Combro Nation, that's right.
That's right.
You came up with that and it's amazing. That's just amazing. You came up with that yourself. You didn't have any sort of help at all from anyone.
Steal that at all.
No,
It's totally mine.
I mean, if anyone else did come up with it, it's our idea now.
We've got the spotlight and the mic. Freak you.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
I'll see you on
thanks,
the
guys.
next one. All right.